popularly known as Rumblebelly's Castle. It's not much of a castle anymore. It belonged to an adventurer a long time ago, and they set up their castle here, a kind of fake dukedom. They were operating off a Cormerian charter and decided to declare themselves a duke. Not really sure that's how the system works, but anyway, this is the ruins of Rumblebelly's Castle. You've camped here. The walls are mostly about 8 or 10 feet high, but this yellow section is a little bit lower, somewhere between 3 and 4. You've set up bear traps at the two known entries, and it would appear that during the night some orcs with dogs have tracked down hound dogs, bloodhounds. Their barks have gotten closer and louder and more ferocious, and now they've stopped and they've started whinnying and whining and yapping as if they know that they're at the right destination. The dogs are straining at their chain, and their houndmaster is doing all he can to prevent them from running off, but he has no such power over the orcs who accompany him. And so it's actually the orcs rather than the dogs that are running straight into combat. These orcs have chainmail, but stone axes, and so the mismatch between modern armor and Stone Age weaponry is a little bit surprising, perhaps. But you may have time to ponder such curiosities when they're dead.
Oh, when we are.
Mm-hmm. All right, Braxton.
Is someone going to roll for both here, or do we just want to?
Someone want to take care of the other character?
I can try.
All right. Okay. So Braxton, it's dark. It's the night time. Do you have any way of seeing across this blackened void?
That was going to be one of my questions. I thought someone did light something up. Was I wrong? Or was that just someone looking out?
I don't think so.
I don't think anyone lighted anything.
Because we dimmed the campfires once we heard them getting closer.
Okay. Alright. So in that case, Braxton is just going to draw an arrow and ready an attack once he can see something.
So like when something comes within, say, 0 feet?
Or something is illuminated.
Yeah, no worries. You've got your arrow knocked, and as soon as there's a flash of light, you'll use that to your advantage.
Yeah, he's just gonna kind of peek out a little bit and have the shot ready. So
the dogs are straining on their chain. Can anyone understand the Orcish tongue?
I think the half-orc can. What?
Yeah,
excellent
as well.
I can.
Beautiful. Hold back! Says the orc. Hold! Wait! And the dogs are straining, but the orcs aren't following. If the order is meant for them, they're not following it. Battlefield.
Well, I guess I will just. Hold on, I'm reading his spells.
Yeah. Take your time, then.
Right. As a bonus action, I will cast this on my quarterstaff that I have with me.
Beautiful.
And I will hold my action until someone pops out and I can smack them with it.
Excellent idea. The orcs that you see have little copper circlets around their heads. Whether they offer protection or not, I suppose you could speculate. They run forward, bolting with all the ferocity and speed that orcs can muster, and orcs can move fast when they want to kill. The first one stumbles straight into the bear trap. Makes his dexterity save to see if he avoids it, and does not. And so he's immediately caught up in this bear trap. It was only a D4 damage. We established that the other day, I think.
Yep, 1d4 piercing.
I thought they'd have a strength modifier, but they don't.
Hold on.
Yep, and its movement is limited by the length of the chain, which is about 3 feet.
Okay, cool. So I just say, immobilized for simplicity's sake. So you roll a D4 for whoever set the trap.
That one was me.
Cool. Excellent.
Nice.
It rips into his leg, and he howls with pain and stops immediately where he is. It doesn't deter the others, though. 1, 2, 3, 4. And he looks around and sees his opponent and comes towards Balfir. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Looks around and he's already in combat without even realizing it. And so this one will attack Balfir.
Do I get my held action before he attacks?
Sure do.
Does a 13 hit?
Not on chainmail, unfortunately. You strike the armor and you don't break through this. Does he have any bonus to that? Is there like a +1 because of Shillelagh or anything?
Yeah, it's already added.
Alright, no worries. He in retribution.
Oh, yeah, that hits.
He delivers a terrible blow. Ignore the second one. That's in case the weapon breaks.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. So he digs the axe deep into Balfir's shoulder, and the old man cries with pain. He then turns attention towards Vicious. For 5 points of damage as the flat of the stone blade crashes across your skull. Vicious. And the dogs, meanwhile, are barking and howling. Wildly.
Did he attack me?
He did, yeah. He got a 22.
Okay, and then is that just only 5?
5 damage, that's right. Yeah, the second one is if their weapons are broken. Or become clubs. Conrad.
Conrad will move.
You can hear the clash of battle, but I don't think you can see it.
Oh, there's no light source over there?
Not as far as I'm aware.
Nope.
Yeah, I'll just hold a shot for if I can see anything then.
Alright. Viscous.
I'm going to swing my crescent moon sword.
You have dark vision, of course?
Nope.
You cannot see. It's pitch black.
So that'd be disadvantage?
It will be disadvantage in hand-to-hand, and you swing wildly and miss.
And then I'm gonna use my bonus action, second wind, and heal myself for a whopping 2. Cool.
Excellent. Alright, our tactics seem to be failing us. The orc with the dog moves ahead slowly, and the dogs move with him. He holds his own action. Jane.
Alright, sorry. Busy rooting my dinner. Alright, so we're gonna go. I'm just gonna cast. Fuck. Yeah, I think I'm gonna cast Light on myself.
Alright.
Oh, wait, do I have to touch it? Let's see. Oh. Go to my handy.
You could just do it on a rock.
I can center it off of it.
Yeah, you can.
Ooh. What we're gonna do, like right there.
Okay. I'll put that down and I'll give it some aura. Although how big the light is. Well, you might not be able to see the aura, can you? Yeah.
In my
You can't see that aura, can you?
No, I can't.
No. Alright. Alright, well the bright light illuminates these 5 and the Kursk stands on the very edge of the dim light and this dog is in the dim light.
And that's all I.
I'll take a shot at the one probably on both here.
Alright.
I'll take a shot at the one on Vicious.
Beautiful.
This is disadvantage though because I'm using a short bow.
Okay, great.
We cannot win for losing.
Indeed, that's the losing is bad tactics, but sometimes pays off in the end.
Jesus.
Kursk.
Come and get me, you toothless fucks! What? And I charge.
Beautiful.
Yeah, I'll charge you. Wait, can I get there?
Sure can.
Okay. And I will... Okay. Yeah, I will... Yeah, I will wave my glaive around and I will strike the one that is by Belfer in the back.
Excellent.
I suppose I got advantage for attacking out of the dark.
Yep, they don't know you're there, so yeah, you have advantage. Yeah.
Oh, okay. Never mind.
Yeah, cool. So there's no other disadvantages for you because you're firing into bright light. It's within your range. You got a longbow. Okay, so it's a great shot, and it fells the orc instantly.
I just thought of that. Because I was like, I'm shooting out of the dark at this fuck.
Do they even know I'm here? No, they don't.
Great, so now with all the other stuff that Belfer's got on him, he's got orc blood.
Yeah.
Man, it makes really no difference. Let's be honest.
Well, Kursk charged in trying to hit that one, but he didn't realize the arrow sticking out of its eye with the delayed reaction of falling to the ground. And he carries the momentum of what would have been his strike against him onto the one that's trapped.
Beautiful. You pirouette the way only a half-orc can.
Of course.
That's how orcs pirouette. Excellent demonstration. All right. Well, Braxton, you've got your arrow eye in now.
Alright, I'm gonna shoot at the one on Vicious.
Unfortunately, you have advantage. No idea you get there. Bam. So you're able to take that extra second to line up your shot, and it flies and sails and hits above his chainmail in the side of the throat. It's a crippling blow, but not enough to kill. the bloodhounds are let go. Their chains drop, and they rush in. They have only one target that they can see, so they both go for Kursk. That's not going to do it.
And a miss.
No pack tactics for bloodhounds.
I was just gonna say, thank God.
Yeah, they don't.
It would have only been one hit, though.
True. Oh, really? Your armor class is above 16. That's pretty good.
17.
Cool. All right, Balfir. So these are these dogs yapping and biting and snarling. Orcs are falling and bleeding. Your stuff is glowing.
Okay, being out of the reach of all those mad things, I'm going to run the fuck away.
It's Balfir's go, I think. Yeah.
Yeah, I am Balfir.
Oh, of course you are. Of course you are. Yeah. My mistake.
Me and my one hit point.
I'm not made for this sort of action. I
Not
cross
at all.
entire deserts and wildernesses and never run into a monster.
And seeing the cluster of many foes up there, I am going to point out, and this could be very good or very bad, but I don't know. Oh wait, I gotta read it. I'm not a big spellcaster. I've never played a druid before. I don't know all these spells.
What's the spell?
It's what
I
I
want
think
that
it
to be a
is. Good
surprise.
idea. Should be able to get all but one, I think.
Yep. He will point out and cast Fairy Fire.
Beautiful.
And he will point it
Actually, you
here.
can get all of them.
What's the range? Yeah, he'll point it here.
Kursk.
Yes. Yeah, you'll have to hit Kursk.
Yeah.
All right.
I mean, it's of your choice, so it doesn't hit Kursk.
Yeah, if
Oh, it is?
It's an area effect.
Yeah, any creature in the area when the spell is cast is also outlined. Or is
Right, yeah, no. I'm mixing up spells.
So
No
I
worries.
need to make a dex save. And I failed, I think.
Alright.
Let me see. Yeah, his save DC is 13.
All right. So you have got
only
one dog and one Kursk.
Oh,
Jesus.
that's not good.
That is unfortunate.
It is. This is the wounded orc who has your number, Kursk. Lines you up with his stone axe and crashes it into your skull.
And he misses, even with a 13.
One of 13, and the other one delivers his attack at Vicious.
The wounded one would have to move away from Vicious.
Does he? How come he has to move away from Vicious? I don't understand. How come?
Oh, never mind. You're right.
Okay, cool. All right, so he smashes the axe in the center of Vicious's skull and waits for him to collapse like a sack of bones. 8 points.
I am knocked out.
On 0 hit points, you're kind of in that blood haze where you can't take any actions, you can't take any movements, but you can still have some vague consciousness of what's going on. It's that horrible moment when you wake up on the surgical table halfway through a surgery and the anesthesia is worn off, but you can't tell anyone. The Vicious has fallen.
I shall move to like there. Yep, and I'll fire at the hound. Yeah. A ping. There. It's top
Alright.
hound.
Damn.
Kursk is still upright.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, so sneak attacks at 8 points.
The dog yelps in agony, and kind of turns in a circle on its side as it tries to bite at the arrow, but dies. Turns in a futile circle like a mad animal a few times, and then stops moving. You're hanging in there, Vicious. You've got this awful head injury, and the blood is pouring from the split skull. But you see the dog go down in a single hit. Okay. The Houndmaster lines up a target, in this case Kursk, with his bow, and fires his short bow into combat. But it's going to miss, and when it does, it has advantage because of Fairy Fire. Thank you.
Yep. So it hits.
Lining up the target with the aid of its illumination, he lets the arrow fly. It's a pretty poorly made arrow, 4 points of damage. And when it doesn't fell you, the Houndmaster seems to panic a little bit and backs up. But then he knocks another arrow, so the spirit has not completely been broken. Jay.
Let's see. If I shoot, how do we do cones here? Is there any way for me to like accurately see where the cone's gonna go?
Yeah.
Like if I fired it from here.
Here's a 15-foot cone. Come on, up here. There we go. One, right.
Am I able to move?
Not yet. I'll make it up as a character, and then you will.
Awesome.
Should just be able to give control of the token as well.
Can you do that?
If you double click on the token.
And turn it to like make it Jane or something. Call it Jane.
No, not even.
Just controlled by. Oh yeah.
Yep.
Okay, cool. All right. So yeah. So if that's a 15-foot token, that one should work.
That's a pretty awesome token. Where'd you get that one?
Search for the word cone in Roll20.
That's pretty awesome.
Alright, there we go. That's perfect. Alright, so yeah, I run over and I look up for a moment and I kinda like she calls the word Marinus, right? As her hands are held forward. And her eyes kind of erupt this darkness, shadowy color as this flame pours forth from her hands. She casts what the hell?
Excellent.
Hey, there are the auras.
Yeah.
I thought there was a fireball all of a sudden.
No, there's your light auras.
Everyone's dead.
Everyone's dead.
Except for me.
Alright, not expecting fire to suddenly pour out of the hands of this innocent girl. Both the dog and the orc are taken completely by surprise and utterly incinerated. Oh, there was an orc and an orc. Either way, they're still going to be incinerated. 12 points of damage, neither of them can withstand that. And so these flames lick pour from your hands and fill the air with the stench of burning dog hair and roasted orc, which is a little bit like bacon, I'm sad to say.
I have 5 feet of movement left. She's going to try and duck around again. From the, like I said, the side, kind of keep away from others out there.
Beautiful. Alright, Curse. The flames licked across your hairy arms and singed the hairs off your forearm.
And I will put down this mutt with my glaive. Or not.
It's you have advantage.
Oh, I do!
Correct.
And with my bonus action, I will second wind.
You feel fine.
And then with my movement, I will begin chasing after this fuckface down here.
He panics.
Actually, I will. Is this like an actual stone, like I can hide behind, or?
Yeah.
All right. Yeah, I'll get cover behind that stone.
All right. Braxton, it would appear that the battle is won. So Kursk is advancing into the darkness, or the edge of the light, at least.
He'll come out and take a look.
Maybe make a perception check if you want. Well, that'd be your action.
Yeah, it's not like he's going to be doing much at this point otherwise, but...
Yeah.
Oh.
You think... Yeah, not much. You think you can hear the sound of the of a single entity out, but it could be the wind out towards the southeast. Fair. The Dirty Druid.
Oh. I will, I will hide.
Alrighty.
Not gonna go heal Vicious.
I can't get there.
Conrad.
Yeah, fight's over. Time to
Alright.
sleep.
Alright. Vicious. Life slowly slipping away from you. And the orc runs off into the darkness. As fast as his furry legs will carry him.
He's gone, what? And then Balfour will run over and cast Cure.
Is he okay?
He should be fine, hopefully. What? Or not what, fuck. Though he's bound to be better than I am now.
You can still hear the drums beating in the distance. They come from multiple directions, predominantly the southwest, out through the massive plains of the Stonelands, the Badlands. And occasionally you're able to pick out a few words It sounds like well, it is a song, but it sounds like it goes verse, chorus, verse, chorus, verse, chorus, and most of the verse is lost upon you, but the chorus is repeated often enough that those of you who can speak Orc can vaguely make out these words.
Lovely. I'm gonna
Yes.
try to recover my arrows and see if there's any other arrows or anything else salvageable from these fucks.
They have like little leather purses, poorly made, nothing more than a goat's scrotum cut and dried in the sun. And each of the, assuming that you rifle through these ball bags, do you?
Yes.
All right. You find in each of them 1d4 copper nuggets. So there are 2d4 in total. And each of them also wears a copper circlet around their head, a piece of metal about an inch wide that looks a little bit like a tiara.
Oh, I thought you said they were gold. Damn.
They call themselves golden crowns, but they don't actually wear golden crowns.
Okay. So
Orcs are not known for their metallurgy.
there's only two of them had these.
How many orcs are there?
There were 3 that we killed.
Sorry, yeah, 3 orcs then. Yeah, so 3 orcs and also 3d4 copper nuggets. The nuggets are worth a silver piece, and the crown is worth a gold piece.
You guys, kill them all.
One got away. What?
Maybe, we should get moving then before he brings back more.
Have we finished our long rest?
No. Yes?
This happened in the 4th shift, so there's still
So
2
no.
hours left.
Yeah.
So I just added it to quote unquote group loot for right now.
Good idea.
How far off did the main band sound?
Doesn't sound... well, make a perception check, because it's coming from multiple directions. As if there isn't a single main band.
I have disadvantage because I'm exhausted.
Cool. It seems to reverberate from the hills, from all of the hills. Like you're not in the middle, but you're at the edge of a massive concert, hundreds of miles wide. So if we are up here at Mount Gloriana, the sound predominantly comes from along the storm horns down here in the south, but it echoes back and doubles back. Yeah, so I guess that kind of arc that is in a badly chosen color is where the most of the sound is coming from.
Are these axes they were using, were these two-handed weapons, I assume?
They are battle axes, so they're using them versatile.
Okay.
Just simple stone axes. There's really nothing special about them. In fact, they look to be quite flimsy indeed. In comparison to their finely made chainmail, which bears the maker's mark of Cormier.
Ooh.
These are
I
suits of
probably
armor.
just,
Yeah,
probably just got them off of some unfortunate souls. What?
purple dragon armor.
Well, let's.
It might be best to try and get another hour or two sleep. I think traveling with all of them out there may be just as dangerous as staying here.
True, this is at least a defensible position. What?
Alright, sounds like a decision. And so 2 hours later, bloodied and bruised, the sun rises, and after a brief and heartless meal, you have some decisions to make, whether you'll retreat to the castle, whether you will continue to investigate the Zentarum agents, or the Zentarum army force that was halfway up the mountain, or whether you go on your original journey and make it all the way to the mines of the Iron Falcon, the traitor who abandoned the deserter who abandoned the fields of Arabel during the height of the battle several years ago.
Should probably continue our journey, boys.
Yeah. I agree, but what? We come too far to turn back now. What?
So during the rest of that last shift, Braxton is going to be stripping the armor off of those orcs.
Excellent. So you have 3 suits of chainmail.
Sweet.
Am I able to use a hit die?
Yeah, you get
Oh,
back
we
all your
just-
hit points.
Yeah, we just finished a long run.
Yeah, so you get them all back.
So Balfour gets back all those spells too?
Yeah.
Okay.
You'll have to add those chainmails to your encumbrance level as well. I don't know if we've got any way of carrying them.
Balfour should be able to carry them. He's got the heavy load or whatever from being a furbog.
Good point.
I am a powerful build. So what am I adding? 3 chainmails?
That's right, yeah, I think so.
And that weighs 55?
That doesn't sound right, because that can't be divided by 3. Unless they're 55 each.
Yeah.
Holy shit. 165 pounds, fuck me, that's a fair bit of extra weight to be carrying.
He has a total carry weight after the powerful build. He has 36 pounds right now in encumbrance.
Oh, right, so you are actually slowed down. Does that mean you're in half movement?
No.
Right.
He's not encumbered at all. Like, counting for the powerful build, like he minus 210 from his total weight with the powerful build.
Okay.
It's confusing, I know. He's not encumbered.
The powerful build allows him to carry an extra 200 some pounds.
Yeah. Yeah. Okay. Where are you carrying your suits of chainmail? In your arms?
I have a backpack. I can stuff them in there, I guess.
Ooh, a backpack's not going to fit 3 suits of chainmail.
How much do they sell for? Are they worth taking back?
It's more for returning the purple dragon armor. Not leaving it out here for them. But I'll carry one.
In your arms?
Okay.
I can throw one in my backpack.
Excellent. Excellent. So we stuffed one in one backpack, one in another backpack. We've still got a third suit to...
I can just throw it over my shoulder for right now.
No problems at all. Alright.
I'm going to. Vicious is going to start hacking at one of the orcs' heads, and then he's gonna get a long stick from the woods, and then he's just gonna place it down at the campsite and put the head on top of the stick.
No problems. You basically will intimidate or aggravate any orcs or other travellers who should spot this. Okay. Well, dawn has come, and with it, the Stonelands begins to get hot quite quickly. A chill night where you had to huddle due to the frost that was encroaching on this barren wasteland. Is soon replaced by a scorching sun with little cover from which to hide from its wrath. Well, you're continuing into the mountain on your original journey, right? Was that the decision that was made?
I believe that is. What? We could put it to a vote if we want to. What?
Sounds like a plan to me.
Alright.
Yeah, no objection here.
The Zentarum army is camped where it was last night. So if you set off and head back towards Mount Gloriana, you'll be able to see they've still got they've erected some flags. They've got campfires and tents. There's still a force of around about 30 of them. 3 horses, 3 huge armored individuals, 8 feet, 10 feet tall. They're still in the same spot that they were, which is about halfway up the mile-high mountain. Mount Rossron is a pretty big place. It can be approached from multiple directions. You don't have to choose the same path that they did. You might want to observe them. You might want to wait them out. It's up to you. But you know where they are, halfway up the mountain. What will you do?
Find another way up.
Find another way up. What?
Mm-hmm. All right. So it takes you about a day to round Mount Rossrana and approach from a different angle. By the time you've found some sort of trail and preparing to enter into the mountains, make a survival check to see the quality of the trail you can find, whether it's a goat track or you're going to have to do some scouting and scaling mountains.
I will help someone do this.
Our druid is probably the one doing that.
Oh, let me see. Yes, I'll do that with Kursk's help.
Excellent. And you manage to discover a path that leads up into the mountain that should go virtually all the way to the top, a kind of goat track. But it's not the only thing that you've found. By the time you climb up a little bit up Mount Rossrana, about 100 feet or a little bit more, you can look over into the Hunters Hills to the northwest. And probably about 10 miles from where you are, in amongst a scattering of stone obelisks, you can see a tremendous chariot from a mile away or more. This chariot is huge. It looks like it's far too large to be driven by any horses or any oxen. But you don't see anyone working on it. It just looks like a chariot that is in a valley beside a cave, almost by itself.
Well, that's interesting. Can I see any signs of recent activity there?
Make a perception check.
No, I can't.
No detail is discernible.
Well, that looks strange. I might want to have a take a look at that. Maybe we should keep on the way, but what?
Yeah, I mean, if you're curious, we may as well see what it is. It could be.
We can worry about that after we have a job.
Exactly, but what? All right. I really do want to see what's down there, though. And I guess we'll continue up, or until dusk, or whenever we have to break camp, or open camp, or set camp, or what.
Yep. Okay, so you travel up deeper into the mountains and up higher up Mount Rorna, and you can spot that there's evidence that there's been mining done here in the past. Occasionally, you come across some abandoned mine shafts, wagons, and mine carts that have been abandoned. A little bit of a railway track, fairly advanced technology. Yeah, pretty bad outdoorsman. But no caves that are big enough to hold an army, that's for sure. And unless you're willing to descend into a dark pit, a few feet wide, from which only silence can be heard, you're probably reluctant to explore every last mine shaft and tunnel and natural chasm. So, as the sun begins to set, after spending all day climbing up this mountain and trying to find a vantage point, you're again left with the challenge of choosing what sort of terrain you might camp in. It's going to be even colder tonight, being halfway up a mountain. But it is a rough mountain. There's a lot more vegetation on here than there is in the Stonelands. A lot more trees, chasms. What sort of locale are you going to camp the night in?
You said there was abandoned mine shafts.
There are quite a lot of them.
I say we go into one of those, camp in there. That's just my idea.
Not a bad idea, but what?
Break the wind.
What?
Oh, the decision is made. You are fortunate that during the night you aren't disturbed at all, apart from by a few small pythons and the bats that they are hunting. Then the night passes uneventfully, mercifully so. When you emerge the next morning and begin traveling higher into the mountain, looking for the mine shaft that might contain the people you're tracking, you can see that the Zentarum have already begun to descend. They've already begun to leave this mountain and are starting to ascend their war camp towards the southwest across the Stoneland.
They're already leaving?
Wow.
So the previous day they went up the mountain and now they're going down again.
Yeah, that's right. They went up the mountain. They've spent 2 nights on the mountain. Now they're abandoning it. Taking their camp with everything with them. They're not even leaving like a scout or anything. Just they pack up the camp and and they've already begun descending and already begun crossing the Stonelands.
How far away are they?
As the crow flies, less than half a mile, but walking, it'd be much harder to get there. You're on the northern side of the mountain, they're on the southern side, and they're heading south.
My whole plan was to try and get up here and find a way up, start like raining rocks and shit down on them and knock them off the fucking mountain.
So by the time you get to your position, like high up in the mountain, you can see that they're already leaving.
Can we tell if they're in their train, if they have anything that they have an extra bit of guard on? Like if there's something valuable that they're holding on or keeping?
Great question. No, I guess it's a perception check.
I was going to say they were carrying a chest when they walked out.
3 chests, I think, actually. Might have been 3. Might have been 3.
Actually, yeah. Do they have the chests when they're leaving?
They do. There's only one chest. No, you're right. It's only a single war chest, but they still have it. It's being carried between 2 of the large armored individuals.
Does it look like they're struggling with the chest as much as they did on the way up?
Only in its bulk, not in its weight. It's easier for 2 people to carry a 5-foot long chest than it is for 1. So yeah, the weight doesn't seem to bother them, but the bulk does.
Was the weight bothering them on the way up?
You didn't think so, but it was a struggle. Lifting a 5-foot chest up while you're trying to climb a mountain is not easy. Maybe, but it doesn't appear to. That's a pretty difficult assessment to make, and a perception of 7 is not going to reveal it.
Well, those guys leaving, at least that makes it easier on us to find the Iron Falcon.
Is there a mine entrance where they were camped, or is it just cliffside or in little?
You don't know. You'd have to go down to their camp to find out.
We could check afterward.
The thing is, they might have been... Was the Iron Falcon hiding out in mines? Is that what the bounty...
Yeah.
Yeah, an old abandoned mine, I think, is where they're meant to be.
Might be at least worth going to check to see if we can find any sign of what they were up to.
True. What?
Zentarum here is suspicious.
Well, Zentarum anywhere is suspicious. What?
Here's
What was Zentarum?
Well, if we're going to go, let us hurry.
Okay.
Guess we'll start going that way.
No problems. So you come across, you spend the half day that'll take you to descend to the location of where the old Zentarum camp is, and you can see that they weren't camped actually that close to a mine shaft, but neither were they particularly far away. This mine shaft is large. It's broad. It's 10 feet tall, 10 feet wide, and it has a poorly maintained railway track inside it. The Zentarum were camped probably about 20 or 30 minutes climb or walk away from there, and yeah, I guess that's all there is to say about it. The tracks emerge from the cave. and yeah, they disappear at that point.
Does it look like either the Zentarum visited this cave?
I'm not sure.
Do there appear to be big, giant footsteps going into the cave? They may have been carrying a big chest.
Not big ones, no.
But does it look like either someone came out from the cave to visit the Zentarum, or the Zentarum came to the cave to visit someone?
Is there any foot traffic whatsoever?
That's what I'm asking, yes.
Okay, so you come up towards the cave to try to work out the tracks and whatnot, and there's evidence here that there were large footprints and small ones as well, going in and out. Make a survival.
I will assist.
So 11.
Not really very good, and given that 30 men or more have walked over these rocks in recent times, it's you're unable to make out any detail. What you can be sure of, though, is that there is traffic that goes in, that goes out. Beyond that, who goes where, when they went, you're just not that skilled.
Okay, so there is foot traffic in and out of the mine, though.
There is, yeah.
Okay.
I can't exactly tell what was going on here, but I think it's definitely of interest.
Maybe we should take a look deeper in.
Make perception checks. You hear voices within there, both male and female. The males seem to be doing most of the talking, and there's the clink of metal and the kicking of stone, the swaying of wooden bridges under pressure, the groaning of wood, and then finally the cry of babies.
Are they coming closer?
No.
Can we tell what they're saying? Or is it just voices?
No, I can't tell what they're saying.
This is starting to be some really creepy shit. Crying babies in an old abandoned mine shaft. Really?
Well, the deserter has followers, no?
We should go and talk to.
Maybe.
If we're together.
Well, if we're going to be confined, I best switch to this. And he pulls out his warhammer.
As you've been looking around and trying to, ascertain the situation, you didn't get much information into who's gone in where, or how recently. But you come to discover that there are more than one entrances. There are, in fact, 3 of these mine entrances. One, I guess, is main. The middle one is the one that seems to get the most traffic. The one to the left, probably about 50 feet to the north, has train tracks but doesn't get a lot of traffic. And the one to the south has no tracks at all and seems to get the least traffic as well. They're each about 50, 70 feet apart, roughly. Main one, and then 2 side shafts. One on either side.
Are the two side ones smaller than the main one?
They are. They're about 6 or 7 feet, so they're tall enough for a guy to walk in, a man to walk in, but they haven't been hollowed out the same depth or width as the main one. Like they're service tunnels, whereas this is a central. Or they've been collapsed.
I prefer the main entrance. I don't think I can fit in the smaller one.
Do you have torches? Actually,
Yes, of course. What? I have 10. What?
we should try and use the.
What was that? What?
We should try and use those.
So you're really quiet. It sounds like you're really far away.
You saying we should split up?
I was actually thinking of suggesting the same.
We should use the torches first.
Torches, okay. And I'm assuming we don't see any light coming out of here at all?
No. No. Make a perception check though. So you're getting your torches ready. You got all the time in the world, so make a perception. No, Braxton, you don't see any light coming from within. Apart from the odd gurgle or not scream of a baby, scream's the wrong word, but cry, I suppose. Apart from the odd wail of a baby and maybe the sound of steel being dragged across stone, it's all quite quiet in there. You don't detect anything. No light sources at the very least. What's the dark vision on the shadow sorcerer? Is it 120 or 60? Or 90?
120.
Yeah, good question. What's the plan?
I don't think our big furry friend can fit through the side entrances, but what?
Hold on, I'm thinking. I think as long as we're together, you can go through the main one. I think we'll be alright. As long as we don't immediately try and attack whatever we see.
I think that's a good idea. I don't much like separating from a party in dark spaces.
Fortunately, my bow is not going to be much use in there.
Do you have something else?
He pulls out his sword and a long sword and a shield.
I think we're ready then.
Okay. The main shaft it is. What will be your
light torches? Yeah. I guess Kursk will go first. He doesn't need a
Braxton will
torch.
be right up there with you.
Excellent.
So is Braxton going to hold the torch, or is Kursk?
Braxton has his sword and shield out, so doesn't really have a hand free.
I could, if that's ends up being a problem, I could just cast light on y'all or one of you.
If you want to cast it on the
Save your
sword, that
spells.
would be perfect. It's a cantrip.
Cantrip.
Oh.
I was just being careful in case we needed to cast it like in an area or something to reveal.
Yeah,
something.
sure. Cast it on his sword. Yeah.
So she moves over then, and reaches out. If I may,
Ooh, no, on his shield. What?
Huh.
On his shield. So when he holds it up, it shines in their faces.
Fucking Captain America. I reach over and put my hand on his shield and start chanting, and it starts glowing this white light.
The sword might be better because if you need to put it away.
Oh. Well, shit, man. Alright, well, she stops again, right? and I guess the glow just lifts away, and she reaches over towards the sword and does the same thing.
Simply from a tactical standpoint.
Fair enough. What?
With your glowing shields and
Sword.
Oh, it is a sword in the end, right? Okay, now.
Gotcha,
Yep.
yeah.
Because it's easier to put out the light by sheathing the sword than to try and hide a shield.
No worries. It also looks more like a lightsaber this way.
There's that.
Gotcha.
Wow.
So, with the Braxton and Kursk in the front, who makes up the second line? Mm-hmm. All right, and that puts the remaining three in the third line.
Conrad might actually hang back a little bit just out of the light.
Okay, no worries. I will note that.
Because I've got half-elf dark vision, so I don't necessarily want to be standing in the middle of the light.
Okay, cool. The mine shaft is between about 10, 12 feet wide at most parts, and there's a couple of train tracks that run along the ground, sleepers, which are the wooden logs that train tracks rest on. The sleepers look pretty rotten. Pretty rotten indeed. It looks like they've been here for decades and have not seen any maintenance during that time. The mine shaft is the support beams are still holding strong. There's rats and spiders, bats as well. But more than that, there's evidence that of human occupation. Shards of glass, broken straps, pieces of leather that have dried and got curled and become all but useless. But apart from the light that you're producing, it's all just darkness in here, and so you start wandering through this narrow, slightly curving tunnel. Is there anything that you want to be doing, or are you just trudging along? Torch.
Keeping an eye out for traps.
Yep, sure. Okay, so make some investigation rolls.
If we come across any smaller caverns or openings in the side, I want to be kind of checking to make sure we're not being flanked through them.
Great. You can make an investigation roll as well. So, Kursk, what you discover, first of all, is that there are traps here and that they are not functional. These are traps that have been disarmed, apparently. There's a little pitfall which is exposed. There's a tripwire which has been loosened. It looks like there were traps here, but someone has deactivated them. Conrad, you spot a few alcoves, a few nooks and crannies, but nothing that would serve as, say, a murder hole, or there doesn't seem to be any narrow passages or hidden doors. None that you discover, at least. No.
I'm gonna listen for the sound of the voices and the baby and see if we're getting any close.
No worries, perception. It's difficult to tell, as the the babies don't have a consistent volume and they echo, but occasionally sound does travel, and a whisper of a man or of a woman, the slow gurgle of a river that meanders through this cavern system. The dripping of water, the screech of bats fighting. That's about all. Okay. So, Jane, you have the best dark vision here. Much better than anyone's, the limits of anyone's torchlight. You can see that we're approaching a junction. It broadens up ahead. It goes from about 10 to 12 feet wide to maybe 20 or 30 feet wide into a cavern. From that cavern, a tunnel branches off towards the left, and the main avenue keeps going forward. It's about 30 feet wide at this point. Before we go any further, though, you spot an arrowhead, a discarded arrowhead that has some black blood on it that appears to be not fresh, not slick, but only a day or two old at most.
She kind of leans down, picks up the arrowhead, and like, what's this? She holds it out. Is this... What creature's blood is... Was it orc?
Yeah, nature check perhaps. Yeah.
Okay.
Goblins have black blood.
There are goblins in here?
It appears so. What?
What? Perhaps they were just invading, or... I don't know. We can only press on and... Let's just find them.
Alright. Everyone make perception checks again as we blunder through the dark. It's lucky you're there, Jane. As this crew edges its way through the area, wits on edge, keeping their attention focused in all directions, you can see up ahead a couple of figures moving through the darkness. They're using they have no light source. They're but of course you guys do, and you can see that at the beyond the range of your torchlight, there are humanoid figures, roughly 6 foot tall, that are skulking. within the darkness, trying to stick as close to the walls as they can, but they are on both sides. Where this 12-foot passage opens up into a 30-foot passage and then veers off to the left as well as going ahead. That's where these individuals are taking up their position.
And they're just like making themselves as small targets as possible, so we can't see them, I guess.
You barely notice them yourself. Certainly no one else does. Conrad or no one else does. But you see the movement of people around about 6 feet tall. They could very well be gorillas. A gorilla is a humanoid figure, but and you really don't spot much detail.
Hold on. She kind of grabs the first person that's in front of her, right, and then stop. There's someone. And I kind of point towards where I see them, and can I count how many there are? Or is it kind of rough, right? Yeah.
All that you know is they're on both sides. It might have only been one on either side.
There's someone up there. They're tall, 6 feet at least. They're hiding.
It's a little too tall for a goblin, what? At least in my experience, what?
What do we do?
I think we should say hello. They haven't attacked us yet. I mean, I can't see them, and it looks like you're the only one who has, so...
Right.
If they know we can't see them and they haven't attacked us yet, then they probably won't. Hopefully.
I kind of look at the others at that and see, like, what everybody else is like. Like, what are they thinking? Should I?
I mean, there's no point ignoring something.
If we don't know what they're up to now.
Braxton is going to take sort of a defensive action.
Like in dodge action.
Yeah, dodge action, just in case.
I will go with you, what? Just for a little bit of extra protection, what?
I'll move. Yeah. He'll move up with them, but.
And Arctic, how far did you say they were down?
Probably about 60 feet away from where you are. There's an opening that opens up from 12 feet to 30 feet. So you'll all be on the map in this instance, but you're not actually. Just the two of you who've moved up are there. But I'll chuck you down on the map. We know that Conrad is the furthest back.
I'll move up behind them. I'm trying to stay behind the shield, right? But I call out in this instance as, we're getting closer. Hello? We know. We saw you. But we're not here to harm you. We're here to talk.
Are any among you a priest? Asks a man with a mature voice.
A priest? What?
A priest! A knight! Someone with honor!
I look behind us.
Conrad will kind of whisper to Kursk, looking at her. I mean, I technically count as a priest, but I'm not sure my understanding of honor would quite be the same as someone who'd
I would. I mean, he's a soldier. Maybe he would count. I'm a knight in training.
Oh, you what?
A knight in whose service?
Lord Marinus.
I know of no Lord Marinus.
You're Lord Marinus' squire, what?
That is not at all what I said.
You said you were a knight in service to Lord Marinus, or a knight in training. That's what a squire is. What?
You be quiet.
Oh, what?
Of Cormier, she whispers, right?
The Lord of Cormier.
There is a new king in Cormier, is it then? A King Marinus?
No. He is Lord of Gloriana. Of these lands.
I have known nothing of what you talk about. I call you a liar, and I ask you to prepare to die.
No,
Wait.
Wait! The Jay just looks over to Brad.
Let's see, what was it? It's Queen Alisair, correct?
Correct. What?
Yeah, well, she's not the queen.
This is out of
Princess
character.
Regent.
Yeah.
Princess Regent.
So I thought I'd say out of character that she's not the queen.
She's
Yeah.
Princess Regent.
Sorry, it was him doing the what that threw me off whether or not.
Sorry.
The what is usually in character. That's why I'm confused sometimes. Yeah. The Princess Regent granted these lands to Lord Marinus. Oh, what is Marinus's last name? Like,
Rosaline.
seriously. Lord Marinus Rosaline.
There is no Marinus Rosaline. Only a John Togn Rosaline, Lord of Tilverton.
The Lord Marinus is his son, if I'm not mistaken. What?
Yes.
What happened to the old lord?
He died with Tilverton. What?
I feared it as much. Tell me about Alisair.
What do you wish to know? What?
You say that you serve her. You should be able to sum up who she is.
She is the Princess Regent of Cormier. What?
Anyone will know this. Tell me about her.
We don't serve her directly. What? We serve Lord Marinus. What?
I call you liars then again. You have one more chance to prove that you are not not false. You have told me one thing and then told me another. You have told me this and then told me that. What is it then? You seem to say that you serve Princess Regent Alisair, but you cannot describe her personality. You say that you saw Lord Rosaline, but you do not know his name. All of this sounds...
As mercenaries, what? We're taking up different adventures and quests, what to help him clear out the stonelands of orcs and evildoers.
Please, wait. I know them both. I've seen her on multiple occasions. I've been in their courtroom as my love, Marinus. He was given Gloriana. I've seen her. She is powerful. She is beautiful. And she holds Cormier at her heart. She cares for its people, but she is strong. She is strong as any king.
That is her. That is her. I had seen her in the Stoneland in the days of her father's reign. She could wield a sword, that woman. She single-handedly tamed these regions, you know. Single-handedly is an exaggeration. She had a cadre. She was their leader. They were glorious days, but those days are over.
She has sent Marinus in her stead, so that she can govern and look upon other tragedies. And Marinus is equally noble, equally a person of fine, a paladin of Elmater.
You must understand that I cannot trust you. I will be honest with you and tell you that I see through your ruse, and I know that you are just the latest instruments of the Zentarum sent to seduce me. But I tell you now, your gold did not work, and the threats of your force did not work. So your lies will not work either, Temptress. You have neither priest nor knight upon which to swear your honor. I cannot trust any of you. I must ask you to prepare to die.
We're not part of the Zentarum.
Listen here. If you want to throw your lives away that easily, go ahead and come at us. Or we can talk like civilized men. It's your choice. I'm not gonna stand here and take accusations all day.
Very well. Come forward. Gather around this table, and we shall discuss what you are here for.
Jane will start walking up.
This massive wagon wheel, huge, and it's sitting on its own axle, providing a poorly supported table. I am the one they call the Iron Falcon.
That's what I was wondering.
And you can see that he's still wearing the remnants of a Cormyrean uniform. Just the very remnants of it, mostly the armor and the boots, and not a lot else. So, I served under the old lord, but I did not serve well.
Why are you here?
I am here because I did not want to die at Arabelle. I abandoned the field with my men. I did not want to then die in the gallows either, so I took my men into the Stone Land, and here to Mount Rosrona. My decision saved all my men, even as it doomed them. And now we must remain as vagabonds if we wish to evade Hangman's noose.
I don't see that there's any must in there. What?
Then perhaps you do not know the penalty for desertion.
Can you tell us under what circumstances you decided to...
Aye. I can tell you, for I shall never forget. It was Wyvernwater, Lord Wyvernwater. The Lord of the Wyvernwater was the blame for Arabelle. There are commanders, and then there are leaders. And Wyvernwater was the former. He sent his men in wave after wave in towards the goblin forces. Goblins will come to you. They have an objective. They are savage. They will overrun, chaotic, wild. But nay, Wyvernwater saw it fit to take the fight to the enemy. We do not need to damage our property, he said. We do not need to endanger the citizens, we said. Take the armies into the field. Aye. Well, we did, and were repelled, and did and were repelled. And we were ordered a third time. But by then our forces had already dwindled. Our forces had already dwindled and thinned, and the battle was lost. We should have staged a retreat at that point. But nay, Wyvernwater would not see Arabelle lost on his watch, he would not be remembered as the man who broke Northern Cormier. I would not have it. I took what men were loyal to me. I asked what women and children who would remain to follow me. And I spat on Cormier. He looks to the ground, and we marched into the Stone Land.
And what happened to Arabelle after that?
Aye, well, the story is famous, is it not? It was the greatest disaster that Cormier had seen, that I am familiar with. These were the days before Tilverton, mind you. It was lost. Completely lost. To my knowledge, it remains lost, though I am not abreast of the current affairs.
Arabelle is back within Cormirian control.
That is good. He nods. I am glad to hear that. It softens the blows somewhat, Tilvert.
I was there, you know. Tilverton. Towards its end. I saw it. In fact, so was Marinus.
I dare not call you a liar again, but it is said that all who fell in the shadow of Tilverton were slain.
Not Marinus. Not I, because of Marinus.
Then it must be dark magics indeed that protect you, for no goodly folk bad.
I could only speak of Omater. I could only speak of Marinus and his friends. They saved who they could, and got out with some artifact, called this or that. And they returned it. All the way... Quickly, what the hell is the capital called? I forget.
Suzail? Yeah.
All the way back to Suzail.
He nods slowly. I would not doubt that Ilmater had some hand in all of my suffering, so I will not doubt you either.
Such a man would understand. Such a man would be willing to listen.
Make a persuasion check.
I'm waiting for this day. Come on. Okay, alright, inspiration, come on. This time, though. Come on.
He shakes his head. I am sorry. I know that no good lord would spare me. But I ask that they spare these people. I commanded these men to follow me. They had no choice. They would have defied the law had they not listened to me. And these women, whom these men have taken to wife, they may have died in the slaughter of Arabelle, or they may have lived. We will never know. But my fate should not be theirs. Instead, I make this offer. A trial by combat. To prove my innocence in the eyes of the gods, or to die as the guilty man I may be. A trial by combat. If I win, then you, and he points towards Braxton, you will declare me innocent on your honor as a man who wishes to be a knight. And if I lose, These people, men, women, and children, shall be yours to do as you see fit. They must bear the punishment for desertion. So be it.
Is it to the death?
My life is forfeit.
Only if you believe it is. What?
What do you mean, half-orc?
If the lady does indeed know the new lord, then maybe he could be persuaded to allow you to return and redeem yourself for your desertion. What?
And how is this better than relying on the gods?
Well, you can take it into your own hands. What?
Not my hands, the gods' hand. Or I can put it in the hands of your lord. Why should I place this in the hands of a man and not the hands of the god?
The paladin of Ilmato. What?
And what were you saying also about the Stonelands? Did I interrupt?
The Stonelands are very dangerous, and your people have been here for longer than I dare wish to. You know these lands well. He could have use for you and your people. But
make your persuasion roll.
Come on, homeboy.
I was going to say, can I say something before he does that to give him advantage?
You can.
Say what you're going to say, because I'm going to need advantage.
I need this, man.
Lord Marinus is a fan of, or is not a fan of wasting potential. If he sees something in you that can be of use, he will make sure that you serve and have a chance to redeem yourself instead of simply being put to death. I know very well.
If you want, you can make the check, Braxton, with Kursk as they assisting you. Whichever you prefer. Or you can just make individual checks.
No, he can make it.
What's your modifier?
-1.
So is mine.
Oh,
nobody likes me either.
You know what? I'll roll it.
Yeah, you spoke last. You get to go.
I'm a white nationalist. Nobody likes me.
Oh, God.
Jesus.
All right. We'll try this.
Damn it! I voted for Trump.
Oh my god. Oh wait, it's advantage, right?
Okay, yeah. So that's good.
I will die here, I will die there, I will not die at all. It is in the gods' hands anyway, and if anyone knows the gods, surely it is a knight and a paladin. I agree. And he gives a whistle. One of these captains comes up to him, one of his lieutenants. Tell the women we're going home. Aye, sir. He salutes. Well, would you like to have a look around, or...
I think... if you're going to go back, though, I think you need to look a bit more presentable. And he pulls his backpack off, and he pulls out the set of Cormyrean chainmail and sets it in front of the guy.
I've lived with treachery and danger for so long that I wonder if the chain is not coated in some invisible poison. Surely a fate I would deserve. A man like me donning this armor, fit only for people of honor.
Oh, for fuck's sake, what? I take the chainmail and I rub it all over my face, and I throw it back down on the table.
I did not mean to insult you. But rather it is a sign of my own paranoia. You are true Cormyreans. Truer than I ever was. I thank you all for this chance.
Any man can change.
It can. They can.
Everyone deserves a second chance.
Do you need help? Do your people need help getting everything ready?
If you could lend assistance, yes. Yes. And so if you want, you can move your character around the map. It's up to you. But basically what we've got here is a mine system, a couple of bridges, fresh water running through it, maybe 20 soldiers roughly, and almost as many women, 10, 15 women, and a handful of babies as well. There's old equipment here, old mining tools, most of which have been adapted to weapons like mining picks and the like, and chunks of iron ore, old crates, those sort of things. But most of the things which are immediately useful have already been put to use. But in addition to that, there's plenty of raw materials, mostly iron, but a bit of rotten wood as well.
Yeah, can we get a 10-pound sample of the iron ore?
Absolutely.
Yeah, let's bring back a good sample of the iron ore to see it. Well, yeah, let's bring back what we can of the iron ore to not only see if it's viable, but if it is viable, then we already have something for the smiths to start with, and we can send more motherfuckers back to get to work. Get this thing operational.
As you
We do have to remember that the Zentarum know about this place now too.
Fuck the Zentarum.
So the sooner we can get control of it, the better.
Is that something you're talking about in front of him?
No, that was out of character.
I thought so. I just thought I'd make sure. As you go around this rear area where the babies and the women are, you notice that the babies share a single blanket, a blanket that is stained with blood. The blood of wounds, but also of afterbirth. Ironically, not that you'd know that, but anyway, so there's this massive banner, this massive purple flag that features the Dragon of Cormyr, and I guess that's the best bed that they have, and so the babies have been sleeping.
That's kind of horrifying. I think Balfir is going to be doing some healing.
He only has 2 spell slots.
Yeah, but I'm thinking at least the individuals that are the worst off are going to be getting some healing immediately.
What can cure wounds do?
A woman with a broken arm or something like that, if such a thing exists, you know. Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah,
And, like, if there's any, like... Yeah, if there's, like, any bad, like, long-term injuries, then...
Or a sick baby or something like that.
Yeah.
But in that, with that in mind, so what Balfir tells you is, my magics are only of limited use here. What these people really need is nutritious food and more sunlight.
They shall get that soon.
I was going to say,
If
the next day...
only I had prepared Goodberry for the day.
I was going to say, the next day he's totally preparing Goodberry.
Excellent. Alright. So they, he carefully, rinses the flag, the massive purple, banner under which he fought in Arabelle. And he takes it and, gives it to one of the women, and they carefully wash it in this mountain stream. They're doing very little to get rid of the stain, but at least, yeah. I just read Jane's comment. I won't break my train of thought, but yeah. So they washed this purple dragon banner, and its blood flows through this crystal clear mountain stream. It doesn't remove the stains, but it does make the rich violet of the flag shine. Right.
Oh, I should have asked. Was I able to? Was my hunting trap in any usable condition?
Absolutely.
Okay. I didn't know if it was still okay after going through the burning hands.
Yeah, good call. So, yeah, I like to think that Burning Hands doesn't quite get all the way down to the scorched earth unless you point it in that direction. I kind of imagine it starting at around about the 1 foot level and going to about the 5 foot level, like a flamethrower does. Maybe that's, I've just got the Flammenwerfer in my mind, I think.
Yep.
So yeah, Conrad brings up an interesting point. He obviously does it quietly, but he mentions the fact that this guy is a highwayman. Okay, so the punishment for desertion is death. Guess what the punishment for being an armed bandit is?
Is there anything around here to show any kind of like anything stolen or anything that doesn't belong in a mine shaft other than the people and
definitely
what we could like anything that we could reasonably argue was brought with them when they fled Arabil?
But it's not. It's from like the Moon Sea. It's from Serpent Bridge. It's from Sembia. These are foreign goods.
Wait, he's been raiding Sembian caravan?
So the bounty on them and the mission and everything, is that because he's been attacking caravans like Robin Hooding and taking stuff, or slaughtering the merchants and taking everything?
Look, if I'm going to be entirely honest, Marinus has no fucking idea. The guy's been adventuring around, traipsing around the plains for the last year. He doesn't know. But so all he's really got to go on is local legend, and the legend is this: the Iron Dragon. The dude's name's Faulkner. Faulkner's a sword captain within the Purple Dragon. Sword captain's a pretty good rank. It's maybe like staff sergeant or something. It basically is as high as the common man is ever likely to rise. Our dwarf is a sword captain, I'm pretty sure. Is he? It doesn't matter. But
it's something like that.
Yeah, so that gives you the it's about as high as a non-commissioned officer can go. I'm not sure if I got that right. Those words right. But anyway, during the siege of Arabil, he ran away and took his unit with him. The gang became called the Birds of Prey, but everyone called them the Vultures instead, and they were raiding the caravans that were travelling to and from Tilverton. But of course, with Tilverton gone, there's not a lot of traffic anymore. So Marinus doesn't really know much beyond that. But as you look at the evidence, or as you look at the crates that he does have, everything here is either from Serpent Bridge, from Sembia, or from the Moon Sea.
Yeah, I'm not gonna speak up too loudly, just, in case him or one of his people hears, but Conrad's kind of giving everyone the side eyes, like, really? Really? This guy attacks merchants and takes their shit, and you're... Okay, then. Okay.
That's pretty much as deeply against your religion as can possibly be, isn't it? Like, this is a fundamental violation of walking.
Conrad's gonna have words for the Purple Dragons if they come back to the place with us, but he's like, I mean, if they want to come peaceful, still gonna have words for the purple dragons when it gets there.
It's still a better way of solving, I think, this conflict without slaughtering everybody.
Yes, but Conrad's very much gonna be the advocate of, oh hell no, this guy needs to be executed.
Are we taking the crates with us? Are we taking it, or are we leaving out of there? Do we have a way? We don't have a way of transporting it, do we?
The crates are pretty much empty. They've been, in fact, they are completely empty. Trade dried up when Tilverton was destroyed, and so they never lived through largesse. They only, raided to survive mostly, and there's been nothing to raid since then. So they're really pretty bad shape.
So yeah, I suppose we'll stay there for the night, help them get ready, and then in the morning probably see whatever they have that's still viable and for means of transport and head out.
All right. And does anyone have anything more to say on that? All right.
The goods that they stole, does it look like it's mainly food and like stuff that they can survive on and not much else, or do they have like precious items and luxury goods and stuff like that I don't think would be traveling this far west? But
olive oil, wine, furs. There were some exotic glassware, shields, a couple of pretty. Like luxury goods, not really. Survival goods, not really. It looks like they took whatever they got their hands on, and I think most raiders do that tactic. If they can carry it, they will.
You said most of it is all gone by this point.
Fuck yeah, absolutely. Like, if it was consumable, it's being consumed. And if it was not, then it's probably sullied or soiled. Like the furs have had babies born upon them, that sort of thing.
And if it wasn't, it's been traded away.
Precisely. That's right. So they might have had some bloodstones or some other treasure, but that's not here anymore because, as you say, they've sold it to the orcs or someone. Yeah. The Zentarum offered us coin, he says. I told them I'd think about it.
You made the right decision.
I did. I don't think that they had any intention of honoring their agreement. I have no love for the Zentarum, and yet the position is desperate.
What did they want to pay you for? What?
Well, they were surprised to find us here. I could tell that. There were 3 of them, 3 individuals. People I'd never seen before, and yet generic in their own way. They didn't seem to like each other. One had wings. I think he was an angel. But what angel serves Bane, I ask you? And he was aggressive, warlike. But he was... I think we owe our salvation to him. It seemed to be that he had this concept that the Zentarum needed human swords, not orc axes. I'm not sure if I'm making any sense, but it seemed to me that they had come south here into the Stonelands to recruit humanoids, orcs and ogres. And when they found us, they were quite surprised and didn't know what approach to take. In the end, they offered us gold and diamonds and ale, and I didn't buy it. It was too generous. What? Why would you give 1,000 gold? Why would you give 100 diamonds to these men? Surely the Zentarum can buy better mercenaries cheaper. I smelled a rat, and I told them I'd think about it. In truth, I did not wish to march my men on the Dales. The Dales were never our enemy.
On the Dales?
Aye. They did not tell me their plan, but it was obvious enough from the priest. Oh, she was a fearsome creature, armed from head to toe in steel, with tattoos across her face to frighten any man. Her sigil of bane, so large that it might be the fist of a stone giant. Frightening woman she was, and she would not keep her tongue still. She did not seem to fear me learning the truth. I do not know what their target is, but it was clear from their personal discussions, which I overheard, that they were amassing this army of orcs and ogres with an intent to smash the Dales. He shrugs his shoulders. I assume they mean Daggerdale, since that was historically their own territory. But it could be Shadowdale. That has always laid in their path. Not that they would have any chance against the might of Elminster.
Okay, out of character question. Is Elminster and Hell a widely known thing, or is that...
No. It's known to people in Shadowdale and the Harpers, and probably not a lot of others. His disappearance, or he might be, like DC 15 or DC, but what he's actually happened is probably like DC of 20, and where he specifically is DC 20.
DC of what? Or like from what check?
History check. Yeah. So you've heard that he's missing. You've heard that you heard that he got trapped in his own tower, or that there was a problem in Shadowdale, or but you've basically heard that you have no conclusive proof, but you've heard that Elminster's not around.
And there are rumors that the Sage of Shadowdale is missing. What?
Well, he shrugs his shoulders. I didn't even know who sat on the throne of Cormyr.
Did these Zentarum agents give you names? What?
No, I don't really recall their names, but I remember their demeanors. I remember who they were. There was that angelic knight that I talked about. He seemed to hate the orcs, think that humans were the only viable ally. The terrifying priestess. She was openly calling for the amputation of the shamans. Seemed to be engaged in some religious pogrom to force the orcs to serve Bane through a regime of fear by dismembering their leadership, their holy men and women. She hoped to intimidate them into service and slavery. And finally, their wizard held a magic staff, and he seemed, I dare say, to be the most intelligent of the lot. Perhaps the most reasonable, at least the least driven by ideology. It was his belief that bribing the shamans and encouraging a holy war in the name of Grumsh was his tactic, but of course, invoking the name of this god only invoked the wrath of the priestess of Bane, and it became clear to me that the wizard had little authority among the three.
Can I tell if he's lying about not knowing their names?
Yeah, go ahead. Insight check is what I mean. Make an insight check.
Ah,
It may have been a good thing that we did not fight with the Zentarum. More.
as much as we did.
Yeah, more. I said.
See, I don't think I get anything on him.
Armored ogres, have you ever seen anything like it? 10 feet tall, piecemeal plate covering their bodies, axes the size of an oxen.
We did on the way up, what? And when we circumvented them around the mountain, what? When we came up above them.
Well, you have my story now. You have my trust, for better or worse. Let us see if we can face the mercy of your paladin. What suffering you must endure.
All right.
So you take the war band and their wives and their children and what little salvageable equipment they might have left, and head back towards the towards Griffin Hill. It's only
we got the 10-pound sample, and we got the 10-pound sample of their.
Yep.
Yep.
And the babies are wrapped up in the silken blanket, purple silken blanket. You travel a rather short journey back to Griffin Hill, marching down the mountain and then crossing the wasteland. By the time you get there, however, it will be dark, and we know how cold Stoneland gets, and it won't surprise you to learn that there can be some very terrible weather here in the Stormhorns. Not that we're only 30 miles from the Stormhorns. Will we march through the night to reach the security of Griffin Hill? Or will you take these 20 warriors and an equal number of civilians and camp out in the middle? Camp out here.
How far is left?
Once you get to the base of Mount Rosrona, it's another. It takes you most of the day to get to the bottom of the mountain. Most of the day, and so the sun sets with probably about 5 miles to go. And basically, where that Yeah. So you've got about 5 miles to go, but you'd be able to make the estimation when you reach the bottom of the mountain. You'd be able to say, look, we've got 10 miles until we get to Griffin Hill. We can't make 10 miles in an hour. What are we going to do?
Would we be able to make it to those ruins we stayed in?
Yeah, that's what I was thinking too.
You can. Yeah.
If they're planning on staying around overnight, Conrad will probably want to sneak off and go the full distance to let the purple dragons know about, give them an update and tell them that they're bringing a bandit to town.
Uh-huh. Do you tell the party that this is your plan, or do you just sneak off?
Sneaks off.
All right. Make you have advantage on your stealth roll, and everyone else can make a perception roll against that.
I say we keep marching.
Fuck.
Yeah, sorry.
Not a problem at all.
I don't think anyone's gonna match it anyway.
I don't think it's possible, no.
Unless it's a net 20. Unless that doesn't count as automatic success.
It's not an automatic success anyway, no. You'd still get a +5. So a trained cleric could do it, that's about it.
I think Belfer is the only one.
But no,
Nope, he doesn't have a train.
What? Balfour is not trained in perception. He's not aware of his surroundings at all time.
No, he's not, surprisingly.
Wow. Amazing. It must be the opium. Anyway. So yeah, it would appear that Vicious doesn't think that we should stop you at all.
We've got babies. Vicious. They can't survive out in the cold all night on the move.
Yeah, but we got a band of orcs looking for us, and let's just say we go to the same spot where they saw us last.
Well, I suppose that is one question. Everything that they had in that cave.
Yeah.
Did they have any like wagons or carts or anything?
Yeah, they do have but their carts designed to run on rails, not on the ground.
Okay.
Mm.
And we're 10 miles away, right?
Yeah, like at the base of the mountain, you're 10 miles away. There's still 1 hour of light left. So you're making these decisions, when you reach the bottom of the mountain, rather than, it's suddenly dark. What do we do? You've got more forethought than that. And so what will you do? You've got 10 miles to cover. You've only got an hour to do it in. Within that hour, you can make it to the what's called Rumblebelly's Castle. Yeah.
Okay.
I say it's only 10 miles. We keep marching until we get there. These are soldiers that have been sleeping in mines. They've had worse conditions than being outside for a little longer.
The soldiers, yes. The women and children, no.
We have more men. That means we can defend our position easily.
It's up to you guys. We can go camping with the Iron Trader. I mean, the Iron Deserter. I mean, the Iron Falcon.
Vicious.
The Iron Goose.
I guess we're camping then.
I think the castle is the fort is the best idea, but what?
Sounds good.
Sounds like a decision is made. Okay. There we go. On one hand, things are good because throughout the night you have no conflict, no violence, no blood. On the other hand, it's bitterly cold, and the chill that settles over you. You have to have fires. You can't, the men will defy you if you say that there are no fires. They'll just raise their middle fingers towards you, build a fire for their wives and for their children. And so you probably set double, triple, quadruple watches, bleary eyes, looking out. The Iron Falcon it sets out campfires at a sort of ring. We've already got fire to attract us. We might as well make it look like our numbers are far greater than they actually are, while providing the illumination that puts us at least on equal terms with you all. And he tries to stay away for the majority of the night. And he fights the fatigue and manages to do so, being quite exhausted the next day. But during the night, those chants continue. All through the beating of drums, the howling of guttural voices, And the song repeated over and over and over and over and over and over again, coming from so many different directions, particularly the south, means that those of you who can understand Orcish can't help but absorb the song by the end of the night. Meanwhile, Conrad, you've made it back to Griffin Hill and delivered your report. Take a short break, and we'll come back in about 5 minutes.
I wouldn't mind getting choked out by her.
God damn it! What the fuck? Do rocks exist in D&D? Okay.
Yeah.
Yes, it's in the.
Giants ride them as mounts when fighting dragons.
Oh my god.
Are they the fastest thing? Fly in the Monster Manual.
They're one of. There might be one
It's
or two
either
Celestials that are faster.
Yeah, them, Pegasus maybe, and then something.
Yeah, they're tied for the highest fly speed.
The motherfuckers can zoom.
And they
Yeah,
have
100.
120?
Yeah, 120 is the highest fly speed that just about anything has.
You guys actually read this chant?
I'm reading it right now.
I just did.
Dumb orc. We're gonna slaughter every last one of these fuckers.
And then we realize, hey, where's Conrad?
Now with that 27.
Oh, I mean, you'll notice he's missing,
Yeah.
but
Yeah, we'll
not
notice
until
he's
long
missing.
after
25,
he's
that's
gone.
So we can only
But yeah, the
fucking...
that's even faster than fucking ancient dragons.
Yeah.
Speed.
Of course, a Pegasus is faster than an ancient dragon too. It's a 90 fly speed, if I'm not mistaken.
But yeah, it's tied up there with like some of the higher celestials.
Okay.
Who the hell's the actor that plays Legolas?
Orlando Bloom.
Tom Hanks.
Orlando
Tom
Bloom and Onion.
Hanks.
No, it's definitely Tom Hanks. That man can do anything.
Oh, dude. Tom Hanks in Lord of the Rings? Fuck yeah.
He'd be one of the other wizards that we don't see.
Yeah.
He's the blue wizard.
Yeah.
Bubblegum shrimp.
I'm gonna get something to drink.
Alrighty, righty. So, in the morning, there is, no, before the morning comes, while you're setting up the camp, you've got everyone in position. The Iron Falcon has surrounded the place with torches and fire to provide some illumination. The babies are resting and feeding, and whatever's been foraged is being divided. Where's Conrad? He's not there. Your priest, the half-elf, your trade priest, he was always quite quiet, but now he's not there at all.
I'm gonna yell out, Conrad! Into the night.
You hear it vaguely, Conrad. You're already a mile away from the party at this point, but you can see them like some fucking fire festival lit up. As if they were the greatest beacon in the entire Stonelands. You can hear your name being called.
He's just gonna keep going.
Conrad's gone, guys. He might have been taken by an invisible stalker.
Look to the other.
90% chance it's an invisible. Anyway, sorry.
I'm gonna look to the others and say, see, I fucking told y'all. It was a bad idea staying out, or the orcs must have got him while we weren't paying attention.
How?
They got a wizard.
In there. Fucking mystery solved.
What happened?
They got a wizard.
The
That's
orcs. They have a wizard. Surely.
A wizard did it.
Conrad is missing, Curse. We don't know. Conrad is missing. A half-elf. The guy who, was a merchant or something. Does anyone remember him? He didn't talk a lot. He was handsome. Surely you remember how handsome he was.
Not as handsome as Meriden.
Alright. So regardless, he's missing. Vicious thinks maybe he was taken by orcs.
I guess we'll see if we can find any tracks.
Survival check. You'll have advantage because the tracks are fresh. Roosh. Braxton, you have found them and no one else so far has. Oh, no, Curse, you find them.
That's Balfour.
Balfour. Good call. So Balfour doesn't really keep secrets, but Braxton, you and Balfour find at the same time, and he says to you, it appears to me that he's snuck away. He seems to have been intent on creeping while he was leaving. Is that the impression you get as well?
Definitely moving a bit light on his feet.
Like he wanted to get away. Do you think? No. Do you think that he was a member of the Zentara?
Is that possible?
It'd make some sort of sense, wouldn't it? They are obsessed with trade.
We've got to move quickly, then.
I see.
He lured Vicious into that trap and just basically left him there.
I don't want to come to this conclusion so hastily, but you are right. What do? It is now too dark to travel. We have already set up our positions. Maybe he will come and fall upon us in the night with his armored ogres. Should tell the others. Oh, they've been listening. We are worried that Conrad is gone. Maybe he's been taken, or maybe he's betrayed us.
He does know the orcish tongue, what?
Oh, you're right. It's all falling into place.
Listen, I wouldn't jump to that conclusion. I know the orcish tongue myself. That doesn't make me a traitor.
And I'm half-orc. That doesn't make me a traitor, what?
Balthier looks at Braxton and edges his way over towards Braxton, away from the pair of you.
Vicious, what happened when you and he were up on that mountainside?
I climbed up and I guess with his skinny elf arms, he couldn't really get a good grip on the side of the cliff, and he took a good tumble. He took a good tumble down, and then that's when the guards heard us, and then I took action. And he was quite hurt after taking that tumble, and he did what he had to do to survive. So I wouldn't say he betrayed us at all.
Well, I feel very silly now for jumping to conclusions. Vicious is a man we can trust.
With a name like
Braxton just kind of looks at him,
and the guy has a look of complete, rustic, salt of the earth honesty to his face.
I know. That's the best part about Balthier.
Why don't we just keep an eye out? An extra eye out, just in case.
But did we figure this out before or after night?
This is on twilight. Like, night has fallen, the stars are in the sky, Saloon is rising above the horizon. Oh my god, where's our priest?
Come on, Red. Where is he?
And we find his tracks, so Balthier shows you that it looks like he snuck off in he snuck off in a southerly direction, and Griffin Hill lies to the south, so that's something reassuring.
He might be going back to tell them to expect us, so they're not surprised when 20 suspected bandits show up out of the blue.
Oh, well, that is very kind of him. Alright. So the night passes without any further event, but that song that you were shown, the Orc War Chant, repeated over and over again, it has a similar conclusion. Until you work out the song, until you hear the song and, you've listened to it for so many hours that it's ingrained in your head. The rhythm, the tone. But until that happens, there's a common event that occurs, and it occurs at the end of the song. It's a scream. So the song goes for a few stanzas. It takes about a minute to sing, and then there's that scream. Minute to sing, scream. It's consistent. It doesn't go forever. The screaming only happens about 30 times. But Yeah.
Fucking
Dawn.
right.
The remix says Hulk. This is the extended Grumsh mix. Dawn comes. And you're woken by crying babies. And the women are already attending the campfires. Clearly they had to work hard just to stay alive up in the mountains, and so rising at dawn to make meals for their men is not something that they do without any sort of complaint or order. So yeah, when you wake up, it's to you're in your community. Any last thoughts or actions before we reach Griffin Hill?
Collective sigh of relief that we weren't attacked during the night.
Alright. You return home, triumphant. But you're greeted by a force of 20 purple dragons. The Iron Falcon is concerned when the purple dragons demand that they throw down their arms. His men grip their weapons. But the Iron Falcon commands them to comply. He lays down his own arms. They do the same. And they are all placed under arrest and taken into the dungeon. You're called before Lord Marinus. Jane. He rushes towards Jane when she appears, with his arms held out.
How could you? There's a misunderstanding. You have to speak with the Iron Falcon.
How could I? How could you? You put yourself in complete danger. You've endangered the entire realm. You've endangered the Rosaline line. My love, don't be so foolish.
I'm sorry, but I could not stand by and watch as the people here suffered. They needed help, and I have
You
the
are a
ability to
lady.
do that.
No, you are a lady. You should act as a lady does. I've a right mind to confine you to your quarters for the good of the realm. You can't just go running around in the dangerous lands like that. You'd get yourself killed. You're not a warrior, Jane.
Well, she handled herself quite fine, Lord What?
Well, thank you for looking after her, but she's not a hero. It's dangerous out there. There are orcs and ogres. This will have to wait until later. He looks around. Now is not the time for us to have our personal discussion. There are 20 men in the dungeons. I thank you for that. We have retrieved the purple banner of Cormier. It is soiled, but the regimental flag has been claimed again. You have done everything that I asked, and more besides. Congratulations and thank you.
Their imprisonment is a mistake.
He looks at Conrad, and then he looks at you.
They're deserters and bandits. I don't see why their imprisonment would be wrong.
This is why you disappeared.
I thought it would be proper to announce our arrival.
They gave themselves up willingly.
And that's all the better because there was no bloodshed.
They
Attend-
expected fair and honorable treatment, not this.
I think it's quite fair and honorable from them to pay for their crimes. The women and children aren't guilty of desertion or banditry, so as such they won't be held responsible. But these men, not only did they abandon their posts, but they've been attacking and raiding caravans since.
They've been trying to survive, following the orders of one man.
And I'm sure things like this can be mentioned in a fair trial.
The trial is occurring now, says Mariner. Shall we bring the Iron Falcon forward? Nor do
By all means, what?
Well, we do not need the defendant here to try a man. Cormyrian law permits us to pass out the sentence in his absence. But no,
Sure.
summon him from the dungeon. The Iron Falcon brought up, placed in chain. You will sit in silence until your counsel is needed, until your testimony is needed. He leans back in the old chair of command. Not a chair for a lord, a chair for a military leader. There is no throne here in Griffin Hill. This is a council chamber. Rather than holding court, it's more like commanding a war room. Then speak. It is clear that you each have different perspectives on this. Tell me what crimes you think he is guilty of, and what the sentence should be. I need your counsel here, in these troubling times when my mind is elsewhere. He looks over at Jane.
She kind of looks away for a little bit.
Was that a question for Jane, or?
No, he was just looking at Jane, because that's all he can think about it, but he needs to concentrate. So please do my thinking for me while I hate the woman I love so much,
Well, as for his crimes, desertion is obviously one, although I'm not going to speak much there. I'm not a soldier, and I'm sure you've got more suitable persons around you to speak on that regard. But since then, he's turned to banditry, and my goddess would simply not be happy or impressed at all if that was just forgiven for assaulting merchants on the road and taking their wares.
He is not on trial before your goddess. He has admitted his crime, and he should be allowed to atone for it.
Cormier recognizes.
I believe I am speaking right now. You can have your moment when I am finished. He should be allowed to atone for his crime. He should be given a second chance. Him and his men have more knowledge of the Stonelands, and that is what you are in need of right now, Lord Marinus. They deserve a second chance.
He keeps considering.
When we spoke to this man in the tunnels of Mount Roshana, when he spoke of his abandonment of Arabelle, the shame in his countenance and in his words were palpable. I believe if you do give this man a second chance, he will not fail you. Though I do fully understand Conrad's desire to see some justice done, let his punishment be to help you in reclaiming or claiming the Stonelands for Cormier so that trade may flow freely, as it never has before, through these lands.
He's weighing all of your words.
He is a good man.
What would you know about good men? Have you ever met one?
I've met you.
That does not count, does it?
I believe it does. It's never changed.
He seems shaken by your words. Vicious? He stammers. You must have some insight into this, some opinion?
Well, what I think is, I think we should punish the Iron Falcon himself. His men shouldn't be punished for loyalty towards their commander. They're simply following orders, but the Iron Falcon himself deserves the punishment. And I say the rest of his men, if they can redeem themselves under your command.
I would like to mention what that Faulkner did offer to have the punishment for only himself if it would relieve his men of any burden. And I think he would accept any punishment if it were for himself and his men were spared, but I think you would be losing an actual asset, and I think the men would grow to resent you for this.
I have suffered the resentment of many people before. I'm not sure that it will hurt me too much to have more people angry at me. But I will see that justice is done. And I will see that what suffering has been inflicted is now alleviated. Everyone make your persuasion rolls. And let's see who gets high.
Come on. Huh!
I use inspiration on that.
Go ahead.
Eat
I'm
it.
going to use my inspiration as
Uh-huh.
Merchant.
I will too.
No worries, this is important.
I'm gonna use my
Fuck!
inspiration.
Go ahead.
Alright, so 11.
No
Or wait,
worries.
does it take the either
Takes the
roll
second,
or...
I'm afraid, and so you get the
Oh.
0.
Ah, fuck.
Vicious
Yeah.
gets the 1.
Persuasion, not performance.
Oh yeah, persuasion. Yeah. Though it's probably just lol. Hilarious. And he looks at each of you. You've all spoken very wisely, and I can see that your collective counsel makes you a very effective government. I will come to rely upon all of you, I am sure, for your advice, your decisions, particularly important matters like this. And he looks over at Jane, and he holds out his hand. My love, please come to me.
She looks at the others and the Iron Falcon for a moment. She offers a short smile, but then goes and
He's still sitting while you're standing, and he takes your hand, and he looks up at you for a change. You're always looking up at him, and now here he is, seated, powerful and at the same time powerless. I did not see what happened. I did not see the conditions in which they lived. I did not hear the words that he spoke to you. But you are the woman I love. And if you are to rule, Gloriana, then you must. Then your decisions must be known to all. Your rulings are the rulings that I shall accept. And so he gives you the floor, Jane, for the first time. He elevates you to a power almost equal to his own. You are now, in all but name, Lady Rosaline. But you're not wed yet, are you?
No, they never got married.
No, so that is important here. Because in spite of the fact that you're not married, he's just given you all the power, and more perhaps, that his wife could and would have. And he gives you the court and allows you to pass the sentence.
She smiles and she inclines. She bows her head shortly. He seeks redemption, like you. And she turns on that and looks to each. I know how each of you feel. She pauses for a long moment. She looks kind of awkward, like she doesn't know what to do, and really uncomfortable. And finally, she looks upon the Iron Falcon. You led your men to safety of what would have been death. These men, women, children would have all died were it not for you. But what you did after that, for survival, there's always another way. So perhaps you may once again lead your men under the banner of Rosaline and retake the... It's not safe, as we saw out there. And it will be hard. And there will be more suffering. But you'll be doing it for your family.
The judgment is passed. So, specifically, does that mean that you grant him a full pardon?
No. Because I think she wants him to... the rest of them, yes. But him, specifically, after he finishes out serving his term, defending the Stonelands, he'll, I guess, pay an additional, repentance, doing labor or something, hard labor, for a year. Or for as long as they were committing banditry, that's how long.
Yeah, that's about 4 years, yeah. About 4 years since Arabelle, 3 or 4, I think.
So not slavery, obviously, but what's close to slavery? Is serfdom?
Indentured servitude.
Yeah, there you go.
Slavery and all but name.
That boy right there is going to the penal farm.
That's it.
How does Conrad look at that? When she says that?
He looks like he's about to write a letter home saying this lord's corrupt AF.
Yeah.
Well, you will when news gets out about this, Conrad, it will be said that you work for the Bandit King, the Bandit Count.
I mean, Conrad's looking at this like, what the hell? Pardoning him all his crimes and letting his lover make the choice for him? They're not even married. What's with this place? Cormier is falling to pieces. We're almost as bad as the Sembians now.
Yeah. This is Westgate politics, isn't it? Right here. Yeah, Sembians. That's such a great analogy. Wow. It's not how things are done in Cormier, is it? There's a power structure in Cormier, and for better or worse, the power structure is held by men. It's held by fighting men with noble blood. And what's this guy gone and done? This teenage lord that Marinus is little more than a child, in most people's eyes, and he's just gone and given his peasant girlfriend authority over the largest county in Cormier. Okay, that's not traditional.
He's probably like in his late or not or like early 20s, I think. That's when.
Early 20s, and I called you barely a child. Oh, you must feel so insulted.
Yeah. Puta.
So he's in his early. I know why Perrin's staying around despite being a self-serving bastard. He's like, the Lord's in his early 20s. I'm like 400 plus years old. I can take advantage of it.
Exactly. That is why I thought Perrin was here, because Perrin is, the real power behind the throne in this. If he gives Marinus some advice, I don't think Marinus would even think about questioning it unless it directly contradicted his own sensibilities.
Look, I mean, you can say what you want, but you can't prove these under a geese.
Ooh, ouch. Ouch.
I mean, there are ways to prove that.
He's been hanging out with one of his best friends is a Sembian dude. Like, what do you?
His best friend's a Sembian, and he lets his lover make choices for him back home.
How the mighty have fallen. Things weren't like this in Arzune's day.
Back in my day.
Having retrieved 25 swords, you get 10 gold pieces for each of them pried from the hands of these vultures, 250 gold, with an additional 100 gold pieces for Faulkner himself. In addition, there is a horse and saddle. For no one in particular, because the purple banner upon which the babies were wrapped up in silk came before him through the arrest rather than through any sort of presentation. So that's the final total. 350 gold pieces, 1 riding horse, and all the equipment that you'll need, like the saddle. I just call it a saddle, but obviously it's the bit and bridle, etc.
And then we've got the iron ore.
That's right. And so an ancient elf, or maybe ancient is the wrong word because elves live a long time, but an elf in his prime, an elf that holds himself with the grace that you would expect of an elf lord, and who seems to have so much power that everyone except for Marinus himself, and even Marinus to some degree, defers to his, I dare say authority, but that's not quite the right word. The Vizier has so much power and so much influence over here that when he enters the room, the Lord himself tends to go quiet. When the Vizier wishes to speak, he's given the floor because it's considered that since it might be the only words that he says all day, we better listen. He's very happy. He analyzes the 10-pound source of iron, and he turns to Marinus and he tells them, "This is very rich in iron content. There are also trace elements of gold as well. The Mount Rosorana, if this sample is anything like the material within, then Mount Rosorana will be a highly productive iron mine, among the most productive in all of Cornwall." He gives you a first level spell scroll of your choice. It'll take him an hour to write it up, but he apparently his spell books are so extensive that they contain almost every spell known to the Warwizard.
Who should get the horse and the saddle? I'm thinking the lady.
Is this in character or out of character?
It can be both, I guess. What?
I think it should go. God damn it! I think it should go to the knight. The would-be knight. Is it a war horse or is it like a regular horse?
It's a riding
horse.
Yeah, so it's not strictly trained for war, but they use it for war. They don't have war horses, so this is the horse that they send out on their patrols. Like the Moonsea Ride is our major road, and they send a group of about 5 or 6 horses up and down the road, and this is one of those precious horses. They only have a handful of them, hey? Like 20, I think, in total. And so you're getting 5% of this county's cavalry.
How many scrolls do we get?
A single scroll,
One.
first level.
One first level scroll. Any ideas?
I'm looking around.
Has
Can I
to,
even
of course.
use them as a sorcerer?
Potentially. It depends on, like, if it's detect magic, I think yes, for example. If it's mage armor, no. Yeah. It has to be a wizard scroll. But he has basically every wizard scroll about him.
If it's a spell that's like in both classes,
Yeah.
would she be able to use it? I'm assuming.
That's exactly right, yes.
Okay. Do we have another spellcaster in the party?
Druid.
If you wish, Parent says, I can teach you the basics of spellcasting if there is one among you who wishes to understand apprentice wizardry. I will take you on.
What?
He looks over at you, and you can see that you are the least. You know, like when he put this offer out, he was hoping that everyone would say no. And of the people who might say yes, you were not one of the ones he considered.
Yeah, you've got Baron's character.
I'm really glad to hear that, man. Like it's really rewarding. I'll make this token offer. No, you're not supposed to take it up. Okay, all right. Anyway, Jane also raises her hand.
Yeah, she looks at Marinus and then everybody else, and she slowly raises her.
His back goes stiff and straight. He's no longer leaning in a little bit friendly, and is rather now has a kind of looks like Professor Snape. Stiff-backed, high-nosed. 2 apprentices, then. Blended.
And then, just for fun, Braxton's gonna be like, I suppose I could. And then he'll just shake his head like, nah.
No, not yet. Alright. And so we spend the next week, or the next 10 days, leveling up as we train in our professions and adjust to our new lifestyles. Welcome to level 2.
I would.
Hell yeah!
I would like a word with Lord Marinus before we end that scene.
Yes, of course. Is this a private word?
Yes.
No problems. He takes you into like a sort of side parlor. There's wine and cheese and ham, and he offers for you to have his fill. He gets some mustard, puts it on bread. What is it, my friend?
According to my sources, you've been seen with the man that I've been looking for by the name of Hisoka Lucavi.
Hisoka? He looks from side to side as if he's waiting for Hisoka to jump out of the fucking shadows right now. Yes, I knew. He's about to say a Hisoka. I knew Hisoka.
Well, I'm looking for him. Do you know where he is currently?
He hesitates. He's not sure how much he should reveal to you, and or how much you already know. Yes, no, kind of. He is a very long way away. Sent on important business. I believe that he's gone to a foreign land, somewhere so far away that he is beyond reach. Though he will return. If you wish, I am happy for you to remain here in Gloriana until he does return, which I think is inevitable.
So I don't know if he's lying.
I thought we all thought he died in the teleport because he shadow stepped away at the last second and no one's seen him since.
Gone.
Because I think, that's the last we saw of him, but the last Billy had him, he was disguised as a soldier, so he's somewhere in Gloriana as a purple trap.
What?
Check.
Vicious will take off his mask and he's gonna place it on the table. Listen, Lord Marinus. I need to find this man.
He may already be dead. Or in another world. Another land, I mean. Another land. He looks guilty as he lied.
25 years ago, Hisoka killed my parents. And he told me to find him when I was ready, if I still feel sour for it. And it's the only way I'm gonna feel better about this. If I could see this man and fight him in an honorable duel.
My boy, Hisoka is a master of the martial art. A skilled assassin. You could not hope to face such an opponent. It would be like a man fighting a dragon. My boy, I sense your pain. Ilmater. Pain. But do not throw your life away on this quest for revenge. Stay here. Learn with us. Help build this nation. Hisoka, if he is even alive, I think he will return. But I have seen him die, not once but twice. Or I have heard of his death. It's a complex story. But my boy, the only way that you can be rid of this pain within you is to learn to forgive, to learn to forget, to learn to build and not destroy. If an injustice has been done to you, particularly when you were a child, I shall do what I can to make things right. But as you have already seen, I believe in mercy. I believe that even killers deserve a second chance.
Vicious gets up and puts his mask on, and then he just slaps the plates of food on the table. He didn't give my parents any mercy, so I'm not going to show him any, and I will find him with or without your help, Lord Marinus. And he's just gonna... Vicious will just, like, hastily walk out of the room.
Vicious!
He stops.
If you... Wait. If you should find your quarry, and if he should perish at your hand, within the realm of Gloriana, and if what you say is true, and that he is responsible for the death of your sire and mother, then justice will have been done, and there will be no punishment for your retribution.
Vicious nods, and then he exits.
Marinus just sits into his chair, puts his head in his hands. I did not ask to be a ruler. Father, if you were still here today. Alright.
Arctic's got it.
Fantastic. So you can skip a week, or you can talk about the things that you did during the week. I prefer the latter, but I don't mind what you do.
Actually, quick question.
Yeah.
Brady, what are you planning on going with Kursk, by the way?
Full fighter.
Okay, I'm just wondering what kind of fighter.
Oh, Eldritch Knight.
Okay. I was just curious.
I've never seen a half-orc Eldritch Knight. I've never even considered it as a concept. I don't know what.
So in some ways, I was actually thinking Braxton may actually do some studying with Perrin.
Sure.
Because I'm going Arcane Archer.
No problems at all. So that works out really well as well. And by the end of the 10-day, as much as Perrin resented it in the early stages, he comes to enjoys a strong word, but he comes to appreciate your I guess your enthusiasm. There's a certain amusement in teaching monkeys to dance.
It's so accurate. Look, they can do tricks.
Yeah. Oh, look at that! They made light. It's yeah. I mean, you got to admit they're learning fast. If humans do have a merit, it's their ability to adapt with astonishing speed. Elves don't adapt well. They don't have to. They're already good at everything, huh? But elves don't adapt well. Humans, on the other hand, take to it like a duck to water.
They take to new concepts quickly. Elves can learn anything, just not quickly.
That's right. And theoretically, an elf already knows everything by the time it hits first level.
He just doesn't know that he knows it.
Precisely. Elves are
He thinks he knows it.
No, he knows it. He's just got to put a limit on his powers, otherwise all the other races will get too.
He wishes he was still playing 2nd edition when elves got the treatment they deserve. Anyway. So yeah. What else do you do during this 10-day? We've got some arcane training in the form of swordplay and archery and shadow magic. If you'd like to build on that, I think this is a really great time to fit yourselves into this small community of which you're such an important part. Only a few thousand people live here. Roughly half of them are the soldiers that were brought up from the south, and the other half are refugees who've come into Griffin Hill. They used to live in they used to live on farms that served Tilverton, but now Tilverton's gone, and there's marauders and the like, and our population is just increased by these bandits. No one trusts the bandits, but but they have babies. How can you? It's quite political and complex. So what were you saying?
Do we get anything for turning in those other 2 suits of chain?
Can we just sell them?
A reward. Marinus just wants to add them to the Griffin Hill Armory.
I mean, that's perfectly fine. I'm perfectly okay with that. I'm just wondering if we get anything for doing it.
Not innately, no. But you could, as you say, you could sell them. Not that there's a lot of people to sell them to. People who are going to buy them are the purple dragons. So selling them is not an easy option, though it's possible. There's always the witch's market or somewhere else. But there's no innate reward. You might ask for one. So a long way of saying you get nothing unless you demand.
I'm perfectly happy with nothing. Other than just, like, continuing to bolster the forces. But if someone else wants to try and find a way to sell it, I imagine it's going to be difficult to try and sell it in this camp.
No, I'm good with just giving it to him.
Yeah. Me too.
All right. So the infrastructure section of what I just shared shows you what's here in Griffin Hill. There's the keep, obviously. The keep is freaking huge. If our soldiery was 10 times as large, there'd still be more room. The Iron Shoe is our local market. Most of the things that you can want are here. Not every item in the player's handbook can be found here, but most of them can. The Moonsea ride is a popular road. Tilverton is no longer here, but Tilverton was only ever a way stop on a much more important trade route, which links the Inner Sea to the Moonsea. There's a wine bar run by elves, a whiskey bar run by dwarves, a dive bar run by a halfling, the chapel, market, place for fighting, and not much else. How do you while away the time? How do you advance your skills? Or do you just want to move on to the next quest?
So you're saying we have a week of downtime?
Yeah, that's right. You got 10 days of downtime to level up. That's exactly what
Vicious is going to be kind of stewing over the conversation he had with Lord Marinus, and he's also going to be kind of talking to like the local smiths and kind of tinkering with an idea of a weapon.
What do you tell us more about that idea of the weapon? There aren't many engineers in this area, but Formirians have a love for war. Their wizards are war wizards. They're a martial society.
During his, as he was following the trail of Hisoka, he kind of learned a little bit of his companions, and he heard of like the Symbian using a pistol brought back from another world.
Ah, yeah.
So it kind of gives him an idea of maybe some kind of handheld cannon of sorts.
Yeah. Yeah, that's basically what it sounded like. It was a really loud wand of fireballs that anyone could use.
And to combat with someone, he figures this is the best way he can match against someone with such martial skill is through just kind of figuring out a weapon that can, outwit that martial prowess.
Yeah. So this is what you learn. You make some brief inquiries. You're probably having a drink at the various bars and pick up conversations, lead conversations, and you learn this: the purple dragons who've been here since Tilverton was destroyed, long before Marinus arrived, they talk about the Golden Crown. The Golden Crown is a kingdom, an item, and a tribe of orcs. And the Golden Crown lived down somewhere in the Stormhorns, this mountain range that marks the southern border of the Stoneland. And somewhere down there in some ruined castle is the Golden Crown. The Golden Crown is an artifact, and whoever has the Golden Crown is king of all the orcs, or at least king of the Golden Crown tribe. The reason why I'm talking about this tribe is because they are highly advanced in the methods of war. They are notorious for building siege engines and catapults and trebuchets and mangonels and spitfires and all sorts of crazy weapons of war that never actually make it to Griffin Hill because they're too busy employing them on each other. The orcs war incessantly among themselves. And so by the time they construct a catapult, someone's invented a chariot to come and run it down. So it might surprise you to learn that the orcs of the Stonelands, and specifically the orcs of the Golden Crown tribe, are as technologically advanced in the arts of battle scale warfare as any of the kingdoms in the east or the west.
Ah, fuck. I just remembered.
Tell us what you remembered.
There was a golden chariot we wanted to check out.
Oh, that's right. Well, plans changed.
I'll mark the golden chariot on the map.
That would be something that would occur to Braxton during this week.
Around about here. In the valleys of north of Mount Rosh Rorna, Hunters Hills.
So, during the week in between his lessons with Perrin, I think Kursk would spend some time in the pit.
Beautiful.
I was just gonna say the same thing.
Alright. Would you like to face off against each other, or just call it sparring and be done with it?
You wanna go? Just for funsies?
Sure.
Alright. The pits are purposely designed to only be 30 foot apart, so like there's really nowhere to run. You're both ready for each other. Roll for initiative. Okay, so Braxton, you can see that Kursk is kind of on the defensive, but I might start with Kursk, even though you lost the initiative. So what is... this guy's approaching, you're armed, you've got the equipment that you need. There's a crowd, they're mostly women. Some are holding babies, but 3/4 are single, and they look down at your as your biceps and your triceps and your glutamus maximus wiggle. So what's your you beat your shield? Do you yell insults? Do you show your balls? What's your kind of
No, he is calm.
Yeah. Breathing deeply?
Yeah.
Meditative.
Okay, so this is weapons?
Yeah. I mean, like, unless you're doing fist fights, that's fine too. But
either way, I'm
this-
just asking. I just wanted to picture.
yeah, it's weapons. So
Is
it's
this-
training weapons, but it's weapons. So you've got
Okay.
swords that will do stun damage. Call it non-lethal damage. Put it that way.
Okay. So is this before or after the +1 we get from level 2?
Call it you can call it level 2 if you want. Yeah, I don't mind either way. Yeah, I don't. But level 2 is probably good because that way you can, it can show you using the techniques that you've just learned, perhaps, like you've just learned how to do a lunge attack or whatever, But yeah, that's good.
Okay.
So Braxton, you can see that you've got the measure of this guy. You're about 30 feet away. He's calmly breathing. I don't expect that you suddenly take advantage of him while he's having a deep breath. So what's your kata? How do you? All eyes are on you. What are you doing?
So he's kind of just walking around, taking a few deep breaths, kind of twirls his longsword a few times, and then when it's finally time to go in, just sort of slaps it against the front of his shield a few times, and then charges in.
Okay, make your attack roll.
Alrighty.
Unfortunately, Curse deflects it with ease. It's a some of the girls are impressed, but the men who are warriors, they kind of chuckle. You know, like, did you hear that it was almost born in Sembia, that. Curse.
All right. I guess I'll be using my Warhammer during this, but I'll be doing it versatile.
Yeah, cool.
So yeah, after he clearly misses, I just I pirouette out of the way halfway and then come around and place the hammer against his back.
A little luck with pirouetting before, but this time,
that could have really hurt.
But it almost did. It was a beautiful blow, and the men, they cheer, while the women kind of wince, and they're kind of sickened to see the handsome man get beaten by the monster. Oh, this is awful. Make it stop. Braxton.
But you never seen Beauty and the Beast.
You got the respect of the men, but you can't blame a woman for favouring a pretty face.
Especially against a charisma.
Kind of just catches himself and wipes his mouth with the back of his sword hand.
Beautiful.
Use a second wind.
You feel fine. You feel 100%. 99 anyway. 99%.
To gain almost all that back.
And that's a bonus action, right?
Yep.
Beautiful. He's sort of behind you. He's pirouetted, smashed you from behind, but you wash off that damage. And what's your response?
And then I'll just spin around with the longsword with the lateral cut.
Beautiful. And it's brilliant. Now the men are impressed, and they're cheering, and they start placing bets. Quickly, this is getting interesting, and they start betting their silver pieces against each other. Most are still going for the half orc. But you're back in the fight, and there's people willing to back you instead. Curse. You're face to face.
With his spin and pirouette, I try to catch it on the haft of my Warhammer, but he gets to my shoulder just before I have it there. So he knocks me to the side a little, and I use the counter momentum to bring it back up in a upwards bash.
Whoa, brutal. There is a collective whoa from the men and a scream from the women. Some of them put their hands over their children's eyes so they can't see this vicious crunch. Was it an uppercut to his jaw? Is that how you did it?
I think more to the below his sword arm, the ribs below his sword, or behind his sword arm.
Crunch. You think you might have just might have broke a rib then, Braxton.
And then while he's out of breath, I'll come in for an overhand onto his collarbone.
Free silver on the orc, says a guy next to Vicious.
I'm still up.
And then I will second wind. Fuck
off.
Will you take it, Vicious? 3 silver on the orc, says this guy. I bet
I bet 3 silver that the orc wins.
I'll bet you a gold coin on the other.
Right. Well, then, huh? All right, a gold it is. You don't have a gold, Larry. I'll sell me cow. That orc's gonna win. Look at him. He's a big bastard. Right, Braxton, you overhear a bit of this conversation, and you can see that Vicious has just placed a gold on you winning.
Alright.
You better win.
Or I'll have to kill 2 people. Which he has to do anyway, because there's Hisokas are all over the place. They breed like that. Kill them.
So I will just fuck it, drop the shield, and go in with the longsword two-handed.
Whoa.
Oh, barely hits.
And then I will also action surge.
Wow.
Miss.
And the first swing is a great blow, but the second one is a desperate blow, and it leaves you slightly off stance. You're and exposed. Kursk, how do you take advantage of this?
I'll say he catches me with the first one, and then seeing like an opportunity to do what I just did to him, brings it around in desperation. But unlike before, where I couldn't get the half to my warhammer there in time, I do this time, and it jolts him, and I am able to push it back far enough, but get enough momentum on the axe to go for his wrists.
Beautiful. Okay.
I think I got it.
Yeah. Yeah, there he is fucking out.
Guy looks up at Vicious. You owe me a gold, sir.
Jesus Christ, man. I don't think you fucking missed a single hit.
Vicious kind of sighs and just flips the gold coin towards him and walks away from the ring in disappointment.
I'm gonna buy a bouquet of flowers for Rosemary.
Well played.
Not bad, kid, but what? Got a few good blows in there. But what?
I was really trying to save the fucking action surge till you had to use your fucking half-orc racial.
Yeah, the relentless endurance.
Mm-hmm.
You were close. I have... Oh, wait. No. Yeah, I have 10 hit points.
Yep.
That second wind did nothing for me.
It's an entertaining, and it's made you kind of famous among the people here. You know, it was an interesting show, combined with the fact that you were the guys who brought in the deserters. Has made Braxton and Kursk local celebrities.
At least I didn't go down like a complete bitch.
At the end of the 10 days, yeah, it's good.
Only one roll was underneath 20, and that was a fucking 19.
Wow. Ouch.
Yeah. Like, I got fucked up.
I've been studying my quarry. What? 10 days later, your training is complete, and you're ready to quest again. This is your list of quests, but you may have found new quests of your own.
We also need to decide what the spell scroll is.
We do. And who gets the horse, right? What did we choose?
Yeah, did we make a decision on that?
Kursk suggested Jane, and then Jane suggested Braxton.
Yeah.
I shall allow you, the players, to make this decision.
Well, thanks, man.
Revolution. Pow.
Do we just want to roll for it?
Leave it up to the gods.
I would be okay with it.
D100. Highest gets it.
Oh.
Braxton.
What are the rules? I wrote the rules. Let's see.
No, not yet.
Or, sorry,
just a attribute point.
Plus one to any attribute. What?
It's so useful for a human. What the fuck?
Yeah, it is. Well, we get a free feed at level 5.
I was really contemplating putting my point in charisma, just so I would have no negatives.
Hell yeah! To represent your fame,
that, and it kind of made sense because I did a lot using charisma.
Yeah,
but I also kind of did a little bit building up intelligence, and intelligence is what I'm going to use at level 3.
Excellent.
My kind of negative charisma is the annoying guy who doesn't quite know he's annoying.
You do it well.
That, and I like having at least one negative on a character.
Yeah, it gives flavor.
Absolutely. You really fully agreed. I find it hard to think of. I once challenged someone to say, okay, find me a great character in art or literature that has no negative penalties. They said, Indiana Jones.
He's afraid of snakes.
Yeah, but like he doesn't have any stat penalties, does it? Like, he's good at everything.
He can't hold on to a woman. That has to be some kind of charisma.
Holy shit.
Maybe his charisma is 8, maybe, but maybe.
I mean, he can pick up any woman.
So maybe wisdom.
But he's super wise. No, wisdom is his highest stat, I think.
I was going to say he's definitely got perception.
Yeah. So maybe charisma. Maybe it's just looks and nothing else. Maybe he can't relate to other people. Anyway, so you have countless quests. You can count them. So countless is completely the wrong word. You have a number of quests in your quest log that take you along the Moonsea Ride, that take you into the Stonelands. Some towards civilization and some away from it. There might be other goals as well that you've other ambitions that you'd prefer to pursue.
I think we should figure out what the fuck that chariot is.
Ooh, I think that's an excellent idea.
Alright, that's 2 for the chariot.
Let's scroll down.
I see no harm in it. What?
Alright. Are there any preparations that you'd like to make before you head back into the stone?
Spell scroll, what do we want it to be?
Featherfall.
Not a bad call.
Or fog cloud. or silent image. One of those three.
Or sleep. At this low level, sleep might be a good one.
I mean, you're right. I think so.
At low levels, yeah.
Yeah. I don't know. Any of those could be useful. I've been like staring at the spell list this entire time.
Yeah.
Good.
Fog cloud is a good one.
I keep thinking of archers. That would give them disadvantage, right?
Yeah, that's true.
We don't have a real wizard, so like, don't rely on me for utility. I mean, I would say between fog cloud and silent. Well, what is all the terrain like in the Stonelands? Is it a lot like steep cliffs and shit? Like,
Yeah. Okay. So the Stonelands is I call it a Badlands. It's a rocky Badlands. It's mostly rocky waste, comparable perhaps to Arizona, perhaps, but maybe not that much of a desert. Anarok is the desert, so Anarok is a desert, and the Goblin Marches are kind of hill lands. So what is the Stonelands? The Stonelands is a wasteland where things struggle to grow, where the soil is largely dead, and the ground is littered with these massive obelisks, these massive menhirs. They don't seem to be natural because they're not. And they're these massive stones, roughly the size of a house. Well, some of them are much smaller, some of them are the size of a dog. But the classic Stoneland boulder is as tall as a hill giant and just as narrow and sits at a really bizarre angle as if it fell from the heavens and was buried in the soil and has remained there for thousands of years. That's what they look like. They look like shards that have rained down from above. That's what it seems
totally
like.
something with Netheril. I feel it in my bone. Alright. Honestly, guys, I think... I mean, I don't know if we're not going... The mountain thing, we're not going to be in that situation, I don't think, too often. I could be wrong. So I was thinking fog cloud to keep us, in this situation where we're getting pelted by a bunch of arrows. And, like, we can't get away quick enough. On the other hand... What's up?
That works.
Alright, we're going with fog cloud.
Alright. Okay, cool. So you've headed into the mountains now, and you're planning to find that chariot. Okay. So this is what you discover. You've travelled about 3 days through the Stonelands, passing Mount Rorna. Fortunately, not finding any trail of the Zentarum. They are nowhere to be seen. You can hear the orc beating their drums and giving their popular chant over and over again, followed by the scream at the conclusion of each complete song.
So where can we tell what direction that's coming from?
Predominantly, it's coming from the Storm Horns. It's not a single camp. That's the scream sort of seems to come from a single point, I suppose. Not really. The scream echoes too much. Consider it to be southwest of Griffin Hill. Yeah. So you have some sense of the direction. Southwest down towards the Stormhorns, and given that the Stormhorns are a fair way from Griffin Hill, I think that puts it at about 30 miles or something. It's not that close, but the Stonelands are famously quite sparse, and so noise, as long as there's not thunder, as long as there's not a storm going on, the noise travels pretty clearly over the plains. The beating of the drums, the grunting of the orcs, the screaming of the doom. Okay. You travel about 3 days through the Stonelands, and the nights are cold, the days are hot. You've rounded Mount Rorsrona, and you haven't run into the Xantarum or any other significant threat. You can see elephants in the distance, ogre footprints, and remnants of orc camps, but nothing actually bothers you. And then the chariot comes into view. It stands in a forest of obelisks. There are more of these great big menhirs, more of these great big boulders clustered here than anywhere you've yet seen. Maybe a dozen of them, maybe more, and they're all concentrated with an area roughly 2 or 3 acres, roughly a hectare in size. And the whole thing is in the middle of a chasm, like a gorge. So, to describe fairly briefly, there is a gorge. It's about 40 feet high. On either side, there's rocky walls about 40 feet high. At the end of a gorge is a cave. In front of the cave is a chariot. And that's all that you can see from the vantage point that you are. But then when you go down off that vantage point, you lose sight of all of that, right? So you no longer can see the chariot or the cave or the gorge, but you know it's there and you know how to find it. What are you going to do from here?
Okay, can you repeat the
I
layout
can.
one more time?
Yeah, I can, and I'll try to use this map to help. To find the chariot, you've got to go back up a part of Mount Rorsrona. So I'll use
One second, my
Balfir.
roommate's trying to get to me.
No worries.
Knocking on my door. I'll be right back.
Absolutely. But for those of you who can hear, see how Balfir is up here on kind of on the mountainside.
Yes.
You understand that? Okay, cool.
Yep.
Because he's at an elevated position of, say, 50 feet, 100 feet, it doesn't matter. Because he's at an elevated position, he can look down here some mile or 2 away, some 5 miles away, right? And 5 miles away, he can see that massive chariot. It's in a valley. At the end of that valley is a cave. The walls of the valley are only about 40 feet high, so they're only about as high as he is, which is why he can look over them and down into this valley. But when he gets off this mountain and goes down here to try to head towards it, he can no longer see that valley because he no longer has the advantage of height. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Okay. So up here, he can see where he needs to go. Down here, he knows where he needs to go, but he can't see it. Now that you know where you are, what do you do?
When we were at the vantage point, could we see any path through the valley?
No, but
Or
you
is it
think you
just
can
all
imagine
forested?
one. Yeah, that's right, exactly.
Okay.
It's all forested and there's hills and rocks blocking the way. So you can see a clearing some distance away.
And that's where yeah.
Precisely. I do realise it's a bit confusing, but I'm glad you've get me.
Yeah, I mean, we've got 2 or 3 people that are good with wild areas.
Yeah, so
Okay,
you'll be
I'm
able to find it. So I'll
I think
briefly
2 of us are
explain.
wanderers. So.
Yeah. At an elevated position here, Tim, the elevated position of being slightly up Mount Rorsrona, you can look down and see over the forest and over into a little valley up here. In that valley, there is a chariot and a cave. But when you leave Mount Rorsrona, when you leave the foothills and go back down here in the flatlands, you can't see the gorge anymore because there's forest in the way. There's mountains in the way, but you know where it is. Does that make sense?
Yes,
Okay,
that actually
cool.
makes perfect sense.
Good. So now that we're down in the valley, we're no longer at Mount Rorsrona, we're heading into the Hunter's Hills. We know how to get there, but we can't see it until we get there. What tactics do we take in our approach?
Oh man.
Yeah. it is actually a legitimate encounter. It's not just like, why is he asking how do we walk? Because I know how to walk. No, that's not what I'm asking. I'm saying there is a location here in a valley. You know that it's there. How are you going to get there without,
How
you know?
how thick is the brush?
Not particularly.
Okay.
It's not like a forest, but it is. But you know, you could lumber these trees for 100 years and you wouldn't run out of wood.
Okay.
But there's not like a thick underbrush.
Not a thick underbrush. No, in the contrary. The trees that are here are big and sturdy and can survive anything. The underbrush is stunted and dying. It doesn't get enough nutrients. It's only the big trees that hog all the groundwater and all of the nitrogen that suck up all the life out of this otherwise barren wasteland.
Okay. So from where we are, like climbing partway up Mount Raswana, and at like 2 points, he's going to basically plant what amounts to like little flags in a line
Yeah, no worries.
that sort of like point a line towards where the chariot is.
Yeah, great. And so, like, you'll be able to navigate based on that giant rock there, that mountain that looks like a frog there, that little creek tributary, and yeah, you're confident that you can travel 5 miles in a direct line and reach the chariot. Cool.
Do we want to approach it cautiously? Or do we just want to walk up to it?
Probably. Once we get to the sort of valley where it is,
Yeah.
probably want to approach it a little cautiously.
Cool. So you're about a mile away from where you expected to be. Maybe more, maybe less. And you start doing a stealthy approach. You can hear some noises as you begin to, you probably, caution is the better part of valor. And so you probably start sneaking a little bit earlier than is absolutely necessary. Is absolutely necessary. And within a forest of obelisks, within a whole range of these massive boulders and menhirs that are clearly unnatural, like the fangs or tusks of a titanic orc, in amongst this forest of obelisks, in this valley, you hear tinker, 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 tinker. Someone is hammering. It sounds like they're driving tick, 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 like maybe hammering a nail into something made of steel. That doesn't make a lot of sense, but it's a mechanical process. It's not consistent. Tinker, tinker, stop. Tinker, tinker, stop. Hammer, hammer, hammer. Stop. And yeah, so you can hear these industrial noises. There's not a lot of them, but it's loud.
So yeah, going to move forward cautiously.
Who else is going?
I'll sneak up quietly, but separate from them. So
Okay.
maybe like 30, 40 feet off to the side.
Excellent.
Balfour and Kursk will be going too.
Okay, so that just leaves Jane by herself to hold the fort.
Hold the fort. I feel like I should go with them, but I do want to cast Mage Armor on myself.
Excellent. Alright, so we have one main group and then Conrad off to the side. Everyone can make their stealth rolls.
That is Balfour.
Guys,
Sure.
you are ninjas.
Mine is a disadvantage.
Ooh, it doesn't. So Kursk is causing a little bit of problems, but because he's part of the main group and not off by himself, you're able to compensate for him somewhat. The others, you prevent him from stepping on hollow logs, and you creatively find ways to prevent his, I think it's chainmail or whatever armor you're wearing, from slapping. Yeah. So you find creative ways to muffle the ring of the chains, and ultimately the party is quite solid. And, the first thing that comes into view is one of the obelisks in particular. Rather than just being some shapeless fang, it's a man. It's a humanoid. He stands at an odd angle, leaning, and his feet not completely standing on the ground. But he's 100 foot tall. This huge, shattered statue of some grandfatherly figure, and he holds within his chest, within his belly, this huge plate of bronze that's turned green. It looks kind of off. And that bronze plate has a series of numbers around the outskirts of them, or runes, or sigils, or something. It's in they're characters in a language that I'm confident that none of you understand. A history check might reveal it, but I don't think any of you can read it. So anyway, summing up again, there's this huge statue of a grandfatherly figure. He clutches a big brass circle over his chest and his belly. That circle has characters, numbers, runes at the edge of it around the perimeter. But that's the first thing that you see. You also see all of this. This should work. Down here, bottom right hand corner, all the way down. So what you see here is a valley. The valley ends in a massive cave. Massive cave. You could march 2 or 3 elephants abreast through this cave. 20 feet high, 60 feet wide. Sleeping at the lip of that cave is a lion. Big lion. A huge lion. Not phenomenally large, but big. There is an orc. The orc is alone as far as you can tell. And he is working. He's hammering, driving wheels onto a chariot. Big wheels the size of elephants. And he's got this massive warhammer. Smash! But then he analyzes his work. He's clearly aiming for precision, but he has to deliver the blows with severe force. And he looks at his work, and he seems pretty satisfied with it. Grunts to himself. There's no horses to pull this chariot. There's no horse that could pull this chariot. It's huge. He has a workshop of sorts, meaning he has a table and some tools and a whole lot of junk. You guys are off the map, presumably somewhere down here at the bottom. But because he doesn't know that you're there, and nor does the lion, you could adapt your tactics. But that's the scene upon which we have come.
Do we recognize what this statue is?
History or religion?
Oh, Christ. Nope.
Ooh. Ain't no grandfather you've ever seen. Nor you. Not popular in the East. Anyone else?
That's Balfour.
Balfour, there's some familiarity to it, but he can't say with any real certainty.
Thinks it's probably one of the gods. For
Yeah,
what
sure,
king?
she's read some books. Okay, apparently.
Close. History 14. I'll let you make guesses.
It's something to do with the Cormyrean royalty or some shit.
Negative. You can conclusively determine that this is not Cormyrean, nor does this guy represent anyone from the Obaraskir dynasty. Not
Okay.
Cormyrean. These aren't Cormyrean numbers or letters, or not Cormyrean figures or gods.
Zambian.
Neither.
No, that's the only thing I could get.
Yeah, that's understandable. Alright.
Kursk, he's one of your people. Can you figure out what he's
Half.
doing?
Looks like he's putting wheels on a chariot. What?
Can you speak Orc?
Of course I can speak Orc. What? Oh, you want me to talk to him? Oh, what? Gnush Klok Nunjabantlanta. And he'll start walking up.
Alright. Guess we will
In
leave
the-
it there.
Oh, we're gonna end there?
I suppose so, yeah.
It's midnight here.
Oh, yep. I suppose.
Alright.
That session flew by.
I'll tell you what, this shit is a lot more fun than like I don't know. It's cool. It's like Lord of the Rings. I don't know. It's fun.
Yeah. Low levels can be really fun. I guess that's why they always stick around that way.